Who's our co-caster today?
It's,
Symbol 6. You guys don't recognize my voice? I'm the only one who speaks this monotone.
Oh no, it's Falcon, guys. Definitely. I'm just kidding. It's Arrow.
My Russian accent is not very good, but I will try. Here. Hey, what's up, guys? Suka blyat.
What's up, guys?
That's what they all say, right?
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding. Stronger R, please.
You know, for a second there, I thought you were gonna say, "Hey guys, what the crap's going on? Arab Carthage here," but no. Anyway,
I don't know if there's anyone else I could impersonate, to be honest. YouTubers.
Since we're in the game, though, do you want to cover Amber's build? She is your pupil, after all.
I will cover Amber's build. So we've got would appear to be 4 units of Dwarf Warriors. Wait, yeah, 4 units of Dwarf Warriors, solid core of Longbeards backing them up, interestingly, so that's 5 of those. Got 2 Thunders and 1 Trollhammer Torpedo, so relatively conservative missile line. Artillery for the Dwarves is none other than a Goblobber and a Cannon, so they'll be putting a little bit of ranged pressure down center here. Although I think the Cannon might be a little bit unnecessary. Not exactly great as anti-infantry, and for the most part, I think an army like this wants to be especially wary of things like squigs and archers. So, leadership is a Rune Lord and a Rune Smith with very standard kit, just Wrath and Ruin, but the Rune Smith does have the Hammer of Kara's Drak. And then, of course, over off to the side, finishing things off, we have 2 units of gyrocopters, 1 with and 1 without brimstone guns. Back to you, PP.
Okay, so back to the PP. For Melonhead, we have 2 Goblin Wolf Chariots on the left. In the center, we see that there is the Lord, so that is Azag the Slaughterer. I am not gonna go over the build in its entirety because the battle has started. We also have Orc Shaman with Scroll of Shielding, Foot of Gork, here we go. Azag himself does have the Wa, I mean, why wouldn't you bring Wa? Bow Seeker, Fate of Buna, Spirit Leech, and some other stuff. His main contingent, well, we do have a bunch of these Black Orcs. I think he has 3 regular ones, the Crimson Killers, Night Goblins, and a couple of, well, 2 Goblins. Actually make that 3 Goblins. Actually, quite some veterancy, but anyway, looks like since the game has started, we already can see that Amber's cannons are firing into the Black Orcs as they should be. Brimstone guns and the regular gyrocopters are chasing off the single entities. So I guess that, like, the dwarves are doing what they're supposed to right now so far.
Something pretty ingenious, I'd like to say, in Melonhead's initial deployment here is that he used the... So he does have the Crimson Killers, which is a very high-value melee unit, but of course this is also especially susceptible to getting focus fired. So what he did was he deployed, putting them a little bit across from a clear line of sight using this little forest that was in Amber's deployment zone to block artillery shots and other things like that, which is keeping them relatively safe right now, and you may not have actually even noticed them. Although one thing that I am a little bit sad to see is that Azag isn't on his Wyvern, because as you can see, these 2 gyrocopters are able to, you know, shoot at anything they please fairly unmolested. A little bit of a premature wogulation over here. Unit's not quite wading into combat yet. Black Orcs are a little bit stopped up here, and one of them is actually being a little bit patient. I would like to see this one moving up one of the several gaps in this dwarf formation, because they are a little bit wider than I would probably advise people to make.
So right now, Melonhead's trying to go around the back of the dwarves with some Night Goblin Squig Hoppers, but one of them is actually, it got caught by a Longbeard unit and also got shot up pretty badly by the Thunders. His Goblin Wolf Chariots are in the back, trying to dish out some damage to the Longbeards, and we see the gyrocopters of Amber repositioning, trying to deal with potentially these Crimson Killers, which are coming around, and they haven't really taken any damage. the Squig Hoppers trying to get into the Thunderers and the Artillery right now, but there's like a unit of Longbeards, which is really gonna stand pretty strong there against them, and I don't think they're gonna be able to break through it. However, Amber's Grudge Throwers are actually targeting the Black Orcs right now, and they've already gotten up to 34 kills on the Black Orcs. Thunderers as well, looking pretty good right now. They're not really endangered. They're going to be doing more damage onto the Black Orcs. Hammer of Karak Draz was popped off onto these Black Orcs in the center, so they're not going to be doing as much damage for a while. So I think it's looking okay for the Dwarves right now.
Considering there is a rule break.
Oh,
A rule
there's a
break?
rule break?
Black Orcs are limited to 3.
Oh, he has 3 Black Orcs and the Crimson Killers.
Melonhead.
Oh, there's a Foot of Gork though, which does quite a bit of damage.
Alright, so I guess we're gonna have to stop the game here.
Yeah, it's that's awkward.
So we are. Wait,
I
which
mean,
rule set are we using for this one?
Shadlands. Shadlands, there is. I'm not changing the rules for the last one.
Okay.
Yeah, it is 3 Black Orcs. And
Is it actually limited to 3 in
Yes.
Shetland's rules?
Yes, I'm looking at it right now.
Okay.
definitely, I'm looking at it again. Definitely 3 Black Orcs and Crimson Killers. So that would make 4 Black Orcs. Maybe he thought that the Crimson Killers don't count.
No one could possibly think that. I think he just
He just didn't know. Okay.
quick battle limits and forgot to change his build, perhaps.
Well, I guess I'm gonna
Yeah.
like zoom in and go to people.
Okay, well, I mean, if they end up just playing this out, I guess it doesn't matter if Amber,
If Amber
wins.
wins. Yeah.
If Amber wins, it doesn't matter. If she loses, then.
Yeah. Well, that extra Black Orc is definitely coming in handy though. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about this. Should have caught it earlier, but oh well. I mean, I
Right.
yeah. Well, anyway, the gyros of Amber are still up. They don't have much ammo left though, so this is going to be problematic. Ooh, and these Squig Hoppers are getting into the cannons as well as the Thunderers. On the left, the Dwarves are actually taking out the Goblins and the Night Goblins there. The Goblin Wolf Chariots looks like, I don't know if what happened with the other one, but there's it's the only one left. There's another Wa which has been popped, so that's going to give the Orcs a little bit of a buff for some time. So I think it's actually looking pretty good for the Orcs right now. The Greenskins are doing a good job here, but again, they do have an extra
Yeah,
Black
with
Orc.
all the range shut down, there's nothing to really stop the Crimson Killers.
Yeah, I mean, there's a cannon left, and oh,
Ah,
There we
okay,
go.
Melon had finally looked at chat, so... Okay.
yeah.
Alright, so here's how this works. So,
And army blocker off before I forget. Nothing new here. I mean, for Amber, that is. I don't think she changed her build around. Seems to be the
she
same.
did actually.
She did.
She took away the normal gyrocopter and put in another thunder. That's it.
Oh, okay. It's good. Let's check out the green skins. Instead of the 4th Black Orc, well, let's see which one he removed. So I see right now 1, 2, 3 Black Orcs, normal ones.
Looks like the
So-
Crimson Killers went out.
Yeah, Crimson Killers went out. And the funds got spent into... Is it the Rock Lobber? Is that their last
You
one?
got a Rock Lobber and
Yeah.
a unit of Savage Orc Biggins.
Yeah, alright.
Kind of strange choice. I would have probably gone for Nasty Skulkers personally, but... I mean, it's up to him what he wants to do with the funds, so...
Yeah.
Maybe he was a little bit short. If I recall, let's see. So, the Goblin Rock Lobber's 600 or 650, I believe, and then Crimson Killers are 1550. Yeah, so he wouldn't have had enough for 2 Nasty Skulkers. He would have had this awkward, like, 400 left over. So perhaps that's why he opted for the Savage Orc Piggins. And they should beat Dwarf Warriors still, so they do have that going for them.
I mean, this should be helping Amber, because, I mean, she has the advantage out of this situation, and she was also losing the game last time, so we'll see if she can turn it around here, and can take the victory. But it looks like players are ready, because I was able to hear the gong, so I think we're gonna get the game rolling soon. Ouch, ouch. And the Nightbot is wrecking people in chat.
Stop spamming caps, man. See, this is why I don't use bots. I just
Yeah.
pay attention to my chat. Maybe you should do that too, Double P.
Oh, wait, double P, not PP? What's this?
I'm gonna change it up a little.
Okay.
I'll see if I can make that one mainstream. So,
Okay.
you know, ironically, the choice of the Goblin Rock Lobber actually gave Amber ideal targets for her cannon and gyrocopter, because before it wasn't quite as clear, but now I think it's pretty obvious to her what she needs to shoot with that cannon.
Yeah. And looks like they are already going in on the rock lobber. So, yeah.
Yep. A little bit of unfortunate deployment on Melonhead's side. He has some goblins trailing behind a couple of black orcs, and I think this was accidental, because it doesn't look like any other units on the line are like that, and what this kind of does is that missed shots from the rock lobber, as you can see, are ending up hitting the goblins instead.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny, but yeah.
The goblobbers. Oh, or it's hitting both at the same time. That's also
both.
happening. Yeah.
Ooh.
He took a lot of damage there. So that's not
That's
good.
not
Yeah. I would have expected a different deployment from Melonhead, actually, considering what he saw. But I mean, he couldn't have known if Amber was bringing the same thing, though. So still,
Right,
though,
and
that
it did
goblin-
work last time, so he probably felt there wasn't too much of a need to change what
Yeah.
he was doing.
Still, I would say that for now it's actually looking better than the last game for Amber, because again, there's only 3 black orcs, and they're taking massive damage from these goblobbers, and the thunders are about to unleash some volleys, but they're hitting not the right unit, I think. Thunderers. Yeah, they're shooting at the goblins, not at the black
Yeah,
orcs.
it seems they were just left on fire at will, and they're just freely shooting into whatever unit's closest.
Now we see these Night Goblins Quick Hoppers, same thing as last game, going around the back of Amber. We'll see if she is able to reposition, and she's definitely repositioning, making a smaller box here to try and make sure that these don't get through into the useful units. Ooh, the Iron Drakes are actually getting some shots off in the middle against the Shaman, the Azag, and Goblins. There's a Wah popped. I mean, wasn't this a little bit... I feel like he didn't pop it early enough.
I think the
yeah.
timing of this one was at least a lot better than the previous one.
Yeah, definitely.
Although one issue that I'm seeing with the general deployment for Melonhead here is that he has all of his heavy infantry stacked up on one side, and unlike a faction like Vampire Counts, where your chaff does actually hold for as long as it takes for it to die, basically, Greenskins don't really enjoy that same luxury. Goblins aren't known for having particularly good leadership, and for dwarves, as long as they just hold out against you, then all of their guns can focus fire on the Black Orcs as they win their engagements up top and then try to roll down, thus getting kited by dwarves, which, I mean, it's kind of ironic given the 28 speed, but it does happen.
Kited by dwarves. Well...
Night Goblin Squig Hoppers coming into the Thunder, so this is good. This is the exact kind of disruption that Melonhead needs, and also we have some Savage Orc Biggins putting a little pressure on Thunders as well, so far, I'd say it looks pretty good for Melonhead right now. Front line is breaking in the relevant areas, and Black Orcs are able to make their way down the line. Real question is whether or not he can grind out with these Longbeards, because most of them are fresh since they weren't really involved in the fighting, and a lot of these Black Orcs are pretty exhausted, so grinding down with Longbeards is definitely the kind of engagement they want. in terms of cost effectiveness, despite their lack of armor piercing, they actually do perform quite decently against armored units, especially considering that one of the fatigue penalties is losing armor.
Squig Hoppers getting into the Thunders as well. I mean, these Thunders, two of them have been routed off the field, and they're about to get charged again by another Squig Hopper. Actually, they charge into the Dwarf Warriors instead of the Thunders. So the Thunders might come back, and they, even though they've lost a lot of models, they could still be useful later on in the game if Longbeards of Amber are able to take out enough of Melonhead's units. Still, Gyrocopters with Brimstone Gun up on the field. Azek the Slaughter is being routed off by these Longbeards. Well, he's not routing, but he is running away. The Orc Shaman is actually being targeted down, so I think he's gonna get killed by these Gyrocopters. Again, Thunder is coming back, so these will be very useful in the late game. And actually, it seems like the Dwarfs have successfully fended off the Greenskin invasion.
Yeah, I would say it's looking pretty good, although the balance of power is a little bit deceiving, I think, as a result of how damaged his leadership is, though Azag's sitting here and taking a faceful from these Thunders. Definitely not helping the Greenskins' cause here. I think that with just a couple more volleys into him, if Amber can focus fire him off the field, then Greenskin defeat is definitely assured here.
So, again, just going more and more in favor of the Dwarfs. That Squig Hopper does get into the Thunders, though. And, I mean, still, cannons up there should be hitting the Azag. They're not actually targeting Azag. They're hitting the Squig Hoppers still. The Greenskins are coming back, but they just don't have enough units for this, I think. And the Dwarfs are, you know, all their units are pretty concentrated, so there's no real issue here. Azek's still on the field, but has like about 400 HP left. So again, the cannons should be turning around to hit him. I'm not entirely sure while they're shooting at. Oh, they were shooting at the chariot. Again, Azek running around using Foe Seeker, trying to fight off these Dwarf Warriors. But I mean, he's gonna die. However, he will actually. That might. Being in blob with his own units might actually increase his survivability a little bit. So I think that is a good choice by Melonhead, but it's still not gonna be enough though.
Yeah, Azag's health is just far too low. He can't really use it in melee either, despite the relatively low damage output of these dwarf units, because they will chip away at him. And with that, I believe Azag's going to want to escort himself off the field. You know, live to fight again another day, and perhaps the next time we see him, he'll be saying, "New Wag, who dis?"
Yes. So, yeah, I mean, considering how the last game went, Amber definitely turned this one upside down, so to speak. She did take the victory here. She made adjustments, which I guess helped her win this. So let's take a look at the statistics. We have these Longbeards doing massive work. 110 kills. They got 2 chevrons. I don't think they started with chevrons. I'm not entirely sure, but
I suspect that one may have been fighting the Savage Orc Biggins. Probably routed off one of those units of goblins and then went to work on one of the other slightly more elite units. It has to be the Savage Orc Biggins. They didn't really get many kills.
Well, actually, the Goblin Rock Lobber still got 31 kills, despite despite actually getting shot down by the cannon at the start. So, not bad. He's Savage Orc Biggins just didn't do enough here. But yeah, let's hop on into the next game. So,
all right. Let's see if the Tomb Kings have my favorite Niet Cortec. They do not. Yeah. That's too bad.
All right. Well, we're loaded in. So you wanna do the honors by starting off with the Tomb Kings?
Yes, I will. So we've got a front line of 3 skeleton spearmen, 2 units of Tomb Guard. There is a little bit of chevroning up in the front line, and then there is also a Tomb Guard with halberds. Now, for the mobility and monsters, we've got a unit of Necropolis Knights with halberds, 2 Nehekar horsemen, a Tomb Scorpion, Cetra the Imperishable on a War Sphinx, and 2 units of Carrion. So pretty simple, pretty solid Tomb King build. He's got a Bone Giant for sniping out chariots and characters. Probably best for chariots. We have seen these perform quite well against units that have a little bit of trouble dodging. Or people that have trouble dodging. Me.
Yeah, but I mean, he has the Hekara Horseman, but that's not allowed in no Hekara November, so I don't know about this.
Yeah,
So,
it is a little bit suspect, but I guess if
Yes.
he was following the rules, he wouldn't even be playing Tomb Kings in the first place, so I guess we'll
Yes.
just have to accept.
Alright, I'm gonna go over High Elves here. So Biblik, he has a Lithanar. See what he's got on him. The Moonbow, Mislead, Slippery, Stone of Midnight, and that is about it. Anything else? Let's see. We have a single mage. With Book of Hoeth, Soul Quench, Hand of Glory, and Apotheosis. And he's also on a chariot, so see how that works out for him. Then there's a Noble. It's another single entity on a horse, just with Foe Seeker. Artillery-wise, we have 2 Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers, and some Elite Infantry, actually. We have 2 of these Phoenix Guards. One of them is the Keeper of the Flames, or should I say, Keepers of the Flame. Spear infantry-wise, we just have 3 Spearmen, and of course, last but not least, some Axe Infantry, 3 White Lions of Krace. One's got Vet 1, so I don't think I've missed anything. There's no hidden shenaniganry from the High Elves here. And the game has started, so let's see what these Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers target. And they're already going for, I believe it's the Bone Giant that they're targeting, maybe. Or they're targeting the Tomb Guards behind it. Because I can't.
That is most
tell.
definitely
Yeah.
the Bone Giant.
Okay, yeah, he's already taken some damage.
Yes.
Oh,
Although I think it's definitely going to play into Symbol 6's advantage for the High Elves to be focusing their fire on the Bone Giant, because this unit, for this army, against what the High Elves have brought, is actually fairly expendable. There isn't really anything that it counters that's of any importance other than the Noble and the High Mage, so I believe that the target priority here is a little bit off. I would definitely be shooting Cetra right now if I were Biblik. And I'd also be running a Lithanar back, because Cetra could probably kill him right now if he decides to.
Yeah.
I know I would.
So the Carrions actually jumped on the Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers, but they're not actually able to stop them from firing, because I believe they're probably on guard mode, so I think they're just like doing just fine. One of them is not firing, I think. One of the models from the left Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower. Looks like there are still some engagement starting. Alithanar here he's caught. He's caught by Nehekara Horseman and Cetra, so I don't think Alithanar is gonna have a good time here.
Yeah, we got a Soul Quench coming out of that High Mage, flatting a few Nehekara Horsemen, but again, the Lithanar is still caught. Didn't really retreat back in time. And looks like the Scorpion's going to be making its way in, but it does get caught by the Noble and is about to get sandwiched by Keepers of the Flame. So that Scorpion's probably not long for this world. However, as far as leadership goes, I think that the Tomb Kings are doing quite alright. Nehekara Horseman coming in, trying to go after the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower, but getting cock-blocked by the Spearmen. And we've also got these Necropolis Knights with Halberds now moving around to rear charge these white lines. Nice move, spread the poison around, help those Tomb Guard win in the front line, snowball your lead up front. These chariots are still going to be a bit of a problem, though, for this chariot.
Nehekara just about to hit these Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers, and that charge should just get those off the field since they're low in HP, and there they go. They just completely died. And Alithanar, he's gone now, so that's gonna be really difficult for the High Elves to take it from here. We'll see what they can do, though, if they can pull a rabbit out of their hats, so to speak. Spearmen here, still, they cannot actually get to those Nehekara Horsemen. And they're stuck there. Now, Cetra is going for his next target, which is the Noble. You know, he's already killed the Lignar, so he's like, yeah, let's munch on some high elf nobles here. You know, it's seems like quite the tasty target for him.
Yes, and kind of what I was alluding to earlier. Although the Bone Giant is probably going to be dying relatively soon, I would say most of the damage dealt to it has been time wasted for the High Elves because it's already more or less done what it wanted to do, just shooting at random targets. And then as far as like Keepers of the Flame or White Lions are, it doesn't even actually pose a very significant threat to those units. So provided that Cetra starts spam casting spells to get the Lore of Nekar passive going to keep the Bone Giant up even further, he will actually be able to waste, or have wasted, all of the time and effort spent trying to snipe this Bone Giant completely and leave it up as a perpetual threat to this Mage on the Chariot.
Well, I mean, yes, the Bone Giant is crumbling, so soon he will no longer be in the field, I think. He's definitely gonna go down, I think. But the Keepers of the Flame, again, they're gonna take out the Tomb Scorpion, so that's really good for the High Elves here. They still have multiple Phoenix Guards in play, some White Lions, so they're not entirely out of it yet. Cetra is still trying to take out that Noble. He might be able to get it. He has some halberds supporting him as well, the Necropolis Knights, so if he can get that Noble, I think it's going to be pretty bad for the High Elves, but we'll see, because he's actually taken some damage, because the Phoenix Guards are now in there, and they're doing some work, but we'll see what they can do.
Yeah, when it comes to Cetra and his War Sphinx going for monster duels, most of the time he actually ends up just grinding out and being fairly tanky rather than actually killing units. Unless you're able to recycle his charge bonus, because he does have a charge bonus of 64 on this War Sphinx, which does bump his melee attack temporarily up to 80 on the charge. So, provided that you can hit those numbers, that's pretty comparable to other units with anti-large bonuses in sustained combat. I believe Kolek should hit close to 90, 85 to 90 melee attack with his anti-large bonus, so yeah, but with that Ushabti summon coming in and Terror being an issue for this Phoenix Guard, I think that it won't be too long before we see the High Elves escorted off the field.
Yeah. Mage still up, trying to do something. Probably not much to do, because again, the High Elves, as you were saying, they're being escorted off the field. Keepers of the Flame, though, they're the last hope for these High Elves here. I mean, they're doing some work, but they're just not gonna be enough against this horde of units from the Tomb Kings. Necropolis Knights chasing off against the Mage, so probably will be able to catch the Mage and kill it right now.
Yeah, definitely pretty likely. I think it's pretty much a shoo-in for the Tomb Kings.
Ooh.
You did say earlier that he had a single mage, right?
Yes. I think that's the only one.
Do you think that Symbol 6 is going to leave her alive so I can ask her out on a date?
Oh.
I am a
that's a
fan
good
of
one.
long blonde hair, so I don't know. I'll keep my fingers crossed.
That's a good one. I'm gonna steal that one.
Oh, please do.
No, not her. Just the joke.
Phoenix Guard grinding out here. But I mean, as long as Cetra gets himself involved in a couple of cycle charges from the back, I think that he'll be able to terrify these Phoenix Guard off without too much issue.
And I mean, I still think that the Tomb Kings have like the best art in the game, even though I don't really like playing the faction. At least I haven't really played it yet, except once or twice. I just love the art of their units. I think they look really, really awesome.
They are pretty nice. The only unit that I do have an issue with would probably have to be the Tomb Scorpion. Now, I know some people do actually like that little sarcophagus or coffin in the back where it's like an entombed or encased Tomb King or Tomb Prince that's piloting the Scorpion, but I'll be entirely honest, it just looks a tiny bit too edgy for me. Kind of like why I play Dark Elves sparingly. It's a little bit too edgy for me. You know, aside from that, their units are pretty cool. Necrosphinxes, Hyrotitans, yeah, they just have great design.
Yeah.
Besides, it's like Egypt, but undead.
Undead
instead of
Egypt.
alive.
Well, I mean, just Cetra here munching on these last few Phoenix cards. He has. It looks. In terms of kills, it looks like he didn't do much, but he actually did a lot. Like, the kills are misleading here. He didn't just kill 42 people. He killed the important people. So,
Yes.
yes. Let's see.
Important people, also HP damage, which is something
Yeah.
I honestly would like to see if CA could implement it, like in this end game screen. If you were to mouse over a unit and
Yeah.
it would show like total damage dealt or something like that. I think that would
yes.
be very interesting.
Or like, and if you go even more in depth, oh, it did this much damage to this unit, you know, that would be
Right.
that would be very crazy.
Maybe we're asking them to do a
yes,
little bit
yes.
too much work for something
Yeah.
like that.
But I mean, for Warhammer 3, I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
Symbol 6 says the Bone Giant did not do very well. I mean, I don't know what else you would have taken that would have been quite as much of a distraction as that. Wasted pretty much all of his time shooting, and Cetra being half health at the end of the game. Imagine if it was Cetra instead who had been focused down by those bolt throwers who sustained the close to, I want to say, 6,000 damage that was dealt by Lithanar and the bolt throwers combined.
Yeah,
So
something like
that
that.
could have been a very different game.
Yeah, also, a Lithanar dying would have changed this game around, definitely.
Yes, that too.
Okay. Well, let's see what we got next. Which build do you want to go over first, Arrow? And I'll just do the other. Leave it up to you.
I'll go over the dwarves, so you can have Erasmus.
Okay. Not taking your student? I see how this is.
Oh, am I going first?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so for the dwarves, we've got 4 units of miners with blasting charges. We've got a unit of longbeards, 2 thunders, an organ gun and a cannon. We've got a rune lord, a rune smith, Gotrek, and then for the slayer contingent, we're looking at normal slayers, giant slayers, and dragonback slayers.
Ooh. Okay. Interesting. He's really afraid of those large units then that Erasmus could be bringing. And Doom Kings can definitely bring large units. Anyway, I'm gonna go over Erasmus's composition now. So, we have Cetra, the Imperishable, with Usek's Incantation of Desiccation, Neru's Incantation of Protection, and let's see what else he's got. So up front we have 4 Ushabtis, and we have a Tomb Scorpion with 1 Chevron, and next to his Lord, we do have a War Sphinx, Cameron War Sphinx, with 1 Chevron. Melee-wise, we do see 2 Skeleton Warriors, and all the way on the left, there are 2 Vanguarded Carrions. And that is the composition for the Tomb Kings. Both players, I guess, seem to be pretty ready, so we should be getting a game going very, very soon. We'll see how the Dwarf build here will stand against the rush of the Tomb Kings, because Tomb Kings here definitely gonna rush.
Yeah. So as we can see, what Erasmus changed out was some of his skeleton warriors for more Shabti. To be honest, I'm not exactly sure if that made his build better suited to deal with what the dwarves presented, because they have a lot of slayers.
Yes.
And there are a lot of units that don't want to be fighting slayers alone here. So I guess we'll just have to see how that pans out. He did actually include less ideal targets for this organ gun, though, so he did neuter a different part of the army. So we'll see how relevant that is.
So Gotrek here, he is gonna be pretty important. We'll see how we can do against the likes of the 2 Necrotects. I missed the 2 Necrotects actually. Erasmus. They were on the right. Yeah, we'll see how we can do against those, and Cetra, I mean, he's gonna be going for those single targets. He's really strong against single target units, and he can do decently against infantry too, but we'll see. So the miners with blasting charges, they're gonna start firing into those Ushabtis. The cannons, they're actually targeting the Ushabti on the far left, so that one is actually lost. It hasn't lost any models so far, but it's definitely taken a bit of damage, and looks like one of them is under Rune of Wrath and Ruin, so it's gonna be a while until they get in. Gotrek's in. He's fighting.
Right. Something that I don't know if this is applicable, but I'm not sure if construct models killed count towards the realm of souls. And if not, then Erasmus actually doesn't have enough infantry to die to get the Ushabti summon out of his realm of souls. So I suppose we'll have to see how that pans out for him, but it seems like he may encounter a bit of trouble in that mid-stage of the battle without this extra punch from Ushabti that he could be getting.
Yeah, I mean, so far, I think that the dwarves are doing pretty well in this battle. I mean, they've done a lot against those Ushabtis, and the Dragon Black Slayers, or actually Giant Slayers, are on to Cetra, so they're gonna start doing some damage. However, they've actually lost some models, and their HP is going down. The Thunderers are actually caught by the Necrotechs and Carrions, so yeah, or Organ Guns as well. We'll see, because there's a lot of disruption going on in the Dwarven line. Hard to say what's really happening right now, but I don't think it's good for the Dwarves.
I mean, right now it's pretty chaotic, but the Necrotechs are getting taken down a lot earlier than they would like to be. And I think the Skeleton Warriors are coming in just a tiny bit later than they really wanted to. Ideal targets for them here would, of course, be Slayers and Thunderers, but one of the Thunderers was just allowed to open a volley into Cetra, so took a little bit of extra damage there, and his health is going to be very pertinent in this battle, because he will have to tank out against all of these Slayers and then eventually kill Gotrek. So I am a little bit concerned for whether or not the Tomb Kings can actually sustain through all that damage. Looks like most of the Ushabti has more or less been burned off by now. I see 2 units of them slowly crumbling away. One of them relatively healthy, but it's fighting Giant Slayers, so that one's probably also not going to be very long for this roll.
The good thing, though, for the Tomb Kings, though, is that the Dwarves, they don't really have many missiles left, I think. There's like this unit of Thunderers that is engaged in melee with the Skeleton Warriors, so those Thunderers, while they did release a good volley into Cetra, they won't be able to do that anymore. And Gotrek's coming in. He's starting to hit those giant units of Erasmus here. Cetra's gonna go down to Gotrek potentially here. We'll see how that happens.
I mean, Cetra is able to leverage his monster status to eventually kill Gotrek through cycle charging, but the important key there is that he needs to have other units engaged. So keeping these Carrion alive, as well as these Skeleton Warriors, is pretty critical to being able to finish off the heroic war here. We are seeing the monsters starting to grind it out with these Slayers, but these monsters really need to start cycle charging better, because he is sustaining a lot of damage in melee combat right here, when he really doesn't need to.
Yeah, these Longbeards are still, they're gonna take out the Skeleton Warriors. We have miners with blasting charges, rear charging the Skeleton Warriors, so that's gonna cause crumbling onto those. Some Skeleton Warriors still in the field, but there's not chaff left for Rasmus that can really assist his large units here. Cetra's surrounded. He is actually, well, he's like really in trouble here. He's gonna start crumbling soon. There he is. Well, hard to say, because his leadership is really kind of not on point right now. But still,
yeah,
he's very low.
His health is so low that if he gets tagged by Gotrek like he did just now, he's probably going to crumble to death. And that would probably be the only thing that would cause the Tomb Kings to lose the game from here. He did actually miraculously stabilize his leadership, but he needs to get out of there, or
down.
He could die to miners.
Well, that's amazing, because he killed the Rune Lord right before he crumbled. So that was pretty important. Although he could have finished him off. other units as well, but still, I mean, there are some large units left for Tomb Kings. We'll see if they can finish up what the dwarves have, though.
Yep. I am getting a little bit nervous about Gottrik's health because this Tomb King infantry is starting to get worn down, and like I said, they're going to need to cycle charge Gottrick if they want the best odds of finishing him off here. Balance of power is in the Tomb Kings' favor, but monster RNG or single entity fights in general are very they're very unpredictable. I know some people's Setchbras, for example, that basically seem to never die, whereas others, you know, just goes down in a heartbeat. So, yeah, with Gottrick moving on to these Skeleton Warriors, though, I think the War Sphinx has a pretty good chance of killing him by attacking him in the rear. It takes a huge hit from the back, although Heroic Fortitude may have to save them.
Can you check the unit count, model count for every faction, just quickly on power balance?
Erasmus has 329.
Yeah.
Right, never mind.
Yeah.
So right now, I mean, Gottrik's pretty much gonna go down. I think the issue was here at the end is that he was wasting his attacks on the Skeleton Warriors with Gottrick instead of targeting the worst things. I think that was problematic.
One or two attacks on the War Sphinx, and the Dwarves could have quite easily pulled it back, but with Gottrick going down, that's going to be army losses for the Dwarves.
Really close game.
Come on, guys, did you think I wasn't going to catch the unit count? That's like the easiest thing to see.
It was pretty close-ish, I guess. But, you know, not close enough to hit the army count. Yeah. I mean, it's 250.
Count,
yeah, it's 250 with this rule set, 300 with yours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So if we were using your rule set, it would have been closer.
It would have been closer, but still legal.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Alright.
So we've got here the Chaos against... where are these guys? The Skaven. Here they are. Yes.
The Skaven.
Skaven. I guess I'm gonna start with the Chaos. So let's have a look-see here. So we have Archaon, the Ever-Chosen. That's the Lord. Going on with Standard Die, Burning Head, Skating Firecloak, Fireball, Kindle Flame. Lots of stuff basically for Archaon. Mainline contingent is fairly interesting, actually. The 5 Chaos Marauders, actually. 4 of them silver 2, 1 silver 1. So lots and lots of upgrades on those Chaos Marauders. Right behind them, we have 2 Chaos Warriors with Halberds. One's vet 1. Then we have a total of 2 Chaos Spawns. Looks like there's some Dragon Ogres as well, 2 of them. What else? We have this unit of Chaos Warhounds. We have an extra one? Yes, we have a second one as well. So hopefully didn't miss any Chaos units. Don't think I did. So over to you, Arrow.
Yeah, I guess these Marauders at Silver 1 and Silver 2 aren't very good at MOBAs, because that is pretty damn low rank, but onto the Skaven now. So we've got 4 units of Skaven slaves making up the quote-unquote front line. We've got 2 units of Clan Rats backing them up. For the missile contingent, we've got none other than Natty Bubo's Sharpshooters, 2 units of Rattling Gunner weapon teams. We've got a Warlord on a Bonebreaker. It's been a while since I've seen one of these. Kind of eager to see how badly he loses to Archaon. I mean, how well he does. We've got 2 units of Rat Ogres, 2 units of Plague Monks Tensor Bearers, and the Council Guard, which may be what this Rat Ogre needs to beat Archaon. Or at least almost kill him, or not die. One of those 3. So,
we're ready, and we're starting, because we don't see the deployment zones anymore. So based on this, we can already tell who's going to be the one attacking, who's going to be the one defending, because Chaos has like a total of 0 missile units, right? I mean, you'd expect this, that they'd have to attack against Skaven. They didn't bring any of those missile cav or anything, so they cannot actually.
Oh, actually,
skirmish.
one thing, I missed the plague priest on a
Okay.
plague furnace
Oh,
over
so-
here. It has
So
pestilent breath and vermintide.
so that's a single mage for Skaven. You're gonna ask him out after the game?
Yeah.
Okay. I had to
So
return
what I'm
it
seeing
to-
here. Oh, go on.
No, I just said I had to return it to you. The same joke.
Oh,
Now
oh,
you go
okay.
on.
Oh, okay. Well, looking at the way that the armies are deploying right now, I'm seeing some kind of interesting movements from these Warplock Jezzails. I believe most of the Chaos army has already closed within distance of their firing line. They've actually opted not to start shooting. And I wonder if this is perhaps so that he can start sneaking shots at the Dragon Ogres, or at Archaon perhaps, as they close the distance thinking that everything is safe. Really nice move coming out of the Plague Priest here with the somewhat early summon. Just trying to block up some units, although it's being thrown at Dragon Ogres for some reason, which I think is definitely not the play here. It looked like it was coming out for the Chaos Marauders, but I guess not. Perhaps a little bit of lag or something like that changed the targeting.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely see the lag here. I'm having quite a bit of... The units are stuttering when I zoom in, so every once in a while it's not looking too good. Hopefully it stabilizes before too long, you know, just hope always dies last, but I don't know. Hopefully, you know, it works out. These Jezzails, looks like they're finally gonna get in on the ogres, and sorry, not Jezzails, rather than gun weapons. Cast fail. Alright, in the center there's a little bit of a duel here, Warlord against Archaon, and you were saying here that the you know, Warlord can do very well against the Archaon, right? Totally.
Yeah, exactly. So in traditional Skaven fashion, he has opted to tactically retreat from combat because he realized that after that initial hit on charge, he was losing. But this is a good move for the Skaven, although the Council Guard getting dragged up front is perhaps not exactly what the Skaven want here, because this is a fairly important unit, and a very critical anchor piece for this Warlord being able to duel, or at least deal with Archaon. And as we're noticing, Chaos is actually collapsing very heavy unit investment on both flanks here. We just saw a unit of clan rats being summoned by the Plague Priest at a very unusually long distance. The casting range of that spell is supposed to only be 60 meters, but from what I'm seeing, it actually came out at like 100, so there is definitely some lag going on here.
Yes. Now for Archaon, he did try and pop the Burning Head, but it whiffed completely. I don't know if it got even a single kill. Actually, I think it may have even done some friendly fire damage, because I think he went through with some Chaos Marauders through it, so that was weird. Now, he's doing great on the right flank against Skaven, because he routed one of those Skaven slaves, and he got rid of the rattling guns. They were actually unprotected. He was able to get in there. However, the Dragon Ogres are now stuck in melee against these Plague Monks, so they've been taking a lot of damage, and actually, one of them was taken out, so the models are definitely starting to fall here. On the left of Chaos, there's gonna be clan rats coming around, and looks like there's some spells popping here and there.
That is a Pestilent Breath coming out from that Plague Priest. I believe it was the bound one. And as we can see, although Chaos was getting ahead on that right flank of theirs, as soon as the Plague Monks came in, that would have been the time to pull the monsters out and start working on other facets of the battlefield, but unfortunately, Chaos opted to stay in here and remain pitched in combat against the Censor Bearers, so fortunately, I think these Dragon Ogres are going to be going down, and it's really unfortunate because this is a unit that counters actually quite a few units on this Skaven roster. So actually, we're looking at Archaon surprisingly starting to lose out in a duel against the Warlord, although when I say duel, I mean being shot in the back while fighting. That is how Skaven duel,
Yes,
right?
yeah, they don't have fair fights, so most definitely that may have been a duel in their eyes, but certainly not in other people's eyes for sure.
Yeah. So the leadership is actually going very poorly, or the leadership fight is going very poorly for Chaos. But on other aspects of the battlefield, I think they're doing quite well. I just need to make sure, or as the Skaven player, they need to make sure that these Chaos Warriors with halberds stay in relatively good shape, because it is an important source of armor piercing for finishing off these Council Guard, which otherwise would be able to tank out against the remainder of these units, which are predominantly large, and don't have the greatest of melee combat stats.
Oof. Lag's really hitting here, but you know, there's gonna be another duel between the Warlord and Archaon. This time, Warlord is alone. There's no support. Plague Priest is coming in, but Warlord is wavering right now, and he's routed. He's gonna rout here. He's routed, and he's dead. He's gonna die here. There's no way he gets out. So at least
Yeah,
I
the
wouldn't
loss
think
of
so.
Skaven leadership here is pretty crippling. I can only imagine that the Plague Priest will be up next. Archaon's gonna have no problem killing this. 38 and 36 in melee stats. There's no way that's penetrating his 60 melee defense. Right now we see Chaos starting to swarm their way into the back line. Chaos Spawn fighting the Natty Bubo's sharpshooters. However, there's a couple of Dragon Ogres and Chaos Spawn that are getting stopped in front of these Rattling Gunners. And that is exactly where the Skaven want them to be, because they will start opening fire, and we'll be seeing the damage come in.
Yeah.
Although, there is a unit of Chaos Warhounds coming in to intercept them, so perhaps this was all calculated all along. And I'm starting to see most of the Skaven line, at least the relevant parts of the Skaven line, breaking apart. But we still have these Plague Monk Sensor Bearers, which are a pretty perpetual threat to any unit that stays in combat with them. This Burning Head is a nice counter, though.
Ooh, let's see if this is definitely a good burning head here, hitting a lot of those units. It's really good. Now
That was a pretty solid one.
yeah, Plague Priest is still alive, but dangerously close to some of these Dragon Ogres. However, Dragon Ogres, they're currently busy up against the Council Guards, so you know the Plague Priest is actually fine. Meanwhile, though, looks like the Skaven are definitely having some leadership issues, because you can see a lot of units actually wavering and routing. Some of these Warplock Jezzails, the Plague Monk Bears as well. So I think this is actually what Chaos really needed here, because now they can just chase them off and make sure the Jezzails don't come back. In the meantime, sending some units to actually get rid of those Council Guards, because I guess the Council Guards here, those will be the units that might be the hardest to take out for Chaos in this position.
Yes, and it is a very important anchor unit, because Skaven should still have 3 Clan Rat summons left. I didn't see any more than those getting used. And in addition to this, all of the Halberds are getting killed off by Plague Monk Sensor Bearers right now, and if that's allowed to happen, then the only things with any armor piercing left to fight the Council Guard will be large units. That is a pretty big problem when you have the Plague Priests sitting around and constantly summoning units on these large units, causing them to get surrounded and then subsequently beat up on by this Council Guard and anything else that comes in. Don't see Archaon right now. Oh, he was actually in the back chasing some units off, but he's also in a bit of a dangerous predicament here with only 1,200 health. If he sticks to the Council Guard, then he is also probably going to be going down. This is honestly a very close game still, I think.
Yeah, he's alive. He's far away from any danger, though, Archaon, that is. So, if he gets... He might not even need to fight those Council Guards, potentially, because the Council Guards are very low. So, we'll see if the units that, you know, the Chaos have left can take them out. You know, the units that are actually getting rid of that Plague Monk, because they're going to be freed up. We'll see what they can do against the Council Guards there. And Plague Priest, as you know, the Plague Priest is super low, the Council Guards too. However, there's a Clan Red Summon, I think that was, and they're about to run out, I think. I'm not entirely sure.
There they go.
Yeah.
Really unfortunate that Plague Priest might have caused this relatively early rout for itself by miscasting the Bound Pestilent Breath spell that it has. You have to be really careful when using that. Of course, it does a lot of damage to lightly armored units, but the targeting for it is very bizarre. It's also a little bit like Night Goblin Fanatics, but quite a bit better by by a lot actually. But it does come with that miscast chance, and most of the time I would probably advise players not to try to use it, since the microtax involved in trying to aim that stupid thing is just ridiculous.
Well, I mean, it's not like the game's going so fast that they don't have time. There's definitely some stuttering here and there.
Well, that is true, but it actually literally did not hit anything. With this fireball coming in, I think that's doomed to escape.
Oh, it just went kaboom. So, yeah, that's going to be it. Just gonna get some close-ups here. These Skaven running away. They should be cowards. Cowards, I tell you.
I mean, I guess that's normal for Skaven. Is it cowardly behavior if everyone does it?
That, you mean at that point it's the new normal?
I would think so.
Yes, I guess you're right. It's the same thing, like, you know, if everyone's crazy, then like that's normal.
Right, right.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Did those Silver 2 Marauders pay for themselves? I don't know. Not entirely sure.
Probably not. They're matched up against a bunch of Smurf
Yes.
Skaven, I'll bet.
Yeah.
You know, they unranked. They were just doing their placement matches, but these Marauders instead just got slapped.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you allow Smurfs.
Yeah.
Alright, well,
Alright.
good game. Wow, Chaos spawns with 104 kills on Chevron. They definitely did a lot.
Yeah,
there.
they did quite well for themselves.
Yeah, what else?
Oh.
Dragon Ogres. Nice. Okay, next game. Alrighty.
If you want to do cool stuff, you play with suboptimal builds. And that's why I dropped them, basically. But anyways,
Yes.
on to this game.
On to the game. I'm actually gonna go over Twitchy's build. Even though I prefer Empire over Chaos, but, you know, Twitchy... Known him for, like, maybe... Definitely more than 7 years, I think. I'd say. So, or around about 7 years or so. 6-7 years, probably. So, yeah, definitely gonna check out his build, what he's got here. We see Archaon, the Ever-Chosen. Of course, that is the Lord choice. And please don't disappear on me, Archaon. He's moved. Okay. We go on him here. So we have Slayer of Kings, Stand or Die, Foe Seeker, Burning Head, Cascading Firecloak, and Kindle Flame. So he is the single mage. So make sure to ask him out if you have a chance. In terms of Warhounds, we have 2 with poison on the left. Cav-wise, we also see 2 Chaos Knights with lances. There's a Dragon Ogre over here. Is there another Dragon Ogre? No, that's just the unit of Dragon Ogres. On the right, we have an ROR unit, this Mirror Guard. And we have a bunch of these Chaos Warriors as front line. 4 of them, all, you know, bronze too, so pretty low ranked. I mean, I think they're just... They might get stomped here against some Smurfs again. We'll see. But yeah.
Yeah, we will have to see.
That's the build of Chaos here. I don't think I missed anything. So yeah, you can go over the build of the Empire. Strikes back.
Alright, so over on the opposite side of the old world's most eligible bachelor, we've got 3 units of Flagellants, 1 unit of Great Swords, the Hammer of the Witch's Great Cannon, 2 Handgunners, 3 Spearmen, looks like 2 Demigryph Knights with Halberds, Gotrek, a Jade Wizard with the usual kit, Earth, Blood, and Regrowth, and this is all being led by none other than Marcus Wolfheart. So, I guess he's on the prowl. I thought Marcus would probably be more the type to go for cougars, but I guess he's... I guess being the Master Hunts Marshal also entitles him to
Okay.
be going for other, more choice prey.
Okay, well, again, since we know it's Chaos, Chaos is gonna be Russian, so Empire's taking the defensive stance here with their cannon, with the handgunners. They're ready, just in case anything happens. Ooh, I'm not so sure about this Demigryph engagement. It has to run away very fast before it gets caught. We'll see.
Looks like they're gonna rat off those Warhounds just in time, and Twitchy accidentally didn't click an attack order on them, so he probably could have caught them at least a little bit.
Yeah.
A small critique I have with this Empire formation, well, I jest, it's actually a big critique. When playing defensive armies, you cannot play this close together, otherwise everything gets compromised all at once and you don't get to use the full range of your missile. Most of the time, as a rule of thumb, I would suggest that people form their armies as if the arc of fire of their longest range missile unit were only about 20 to 30 meters out in front of the infantry that makes up their front line, because your front line will break in some places and you will want to have space to kite back. And in addition to this, most of the time the things that you want to shoot aren't infantry, at least to start. So these large units, which would be crossing into your arc of fire, only typically do so as everything else is collapsing. So if you can zone them out a little bit, that definitely helps. We've got Great Swords joining this fight with the Chaos Knights. A little bit of a questionable move. However, don't let the fact that they do not have an anti-large bonus belie the fact that they do have armor piercing. And Chaos Knights with lances don't have the greatest defensive stats, so when caught, they will actually take quite a bit of damage.
Yeah. Right now, though, Chaos is massively winning the frontline engagement, though. I mean, they even have multiple units on one unit, which is actually a mistake. Like, sending 2 Chaos Warriors over into one Flagellant. I think they could have split off one of those Chaos Warriors. There's another Burning Head catching the Hammer of the Witches and Handgunners, but not doing as much as they would have hoped. However, it did force the Handgunners to move at least, and the Mirror Guard coming in here into the Handgunners, so these guys are going to have to start kiting away. Chaos Knights going to die here. Archaon is also engaged here, destroying Marcus. Marcus is routed off the field. Let's see if he can actually escape and fix his issues, but he's Earth-blooded. He's gonna take some HP back, but I don't know. This is a little bit rough here for Empire. Though the Flagellants are still holding the front line. I mean, they're going to hold the front line, of course, because it's. I mean, how are you gonna route the Flagellants, right? So, I mean, again, two on top of Flagellant, very much a mistake, I would say, because that extra Chaos Warrior could have done more. However, Archaon is getting hit by Gotrek, taking massive damage.
Yeah, given how hard the Empire lost the infantry fight, they've definitely got quite a bit of kiting to do. Demigryphs do give them a little bit more initiative as far as mobility is concerned, but if they sit there and fight units of infantry like Mirror Guard, where one of these units of Demigryphs is actually dying right now, perhaps the second one will as well, then they're not really getting the most ideal trades. It's very important that the Empire mobility works on shutting down the Chaos mobility so that they have the freedom to fight. Otherwise, I don't really see the Empire being able to win this one.
Okay.
Ooh, Chaos Knights over there just blocked the focus shot for Marcus. I think that may have been unintentional, but it still happened nonetheless. With that coming in, Archaon's going to come in to deliver the finishing blow. I guess this is his version of ghosting, as in, like, turning you into one. So...
Well, Marcus escaped because those Demigryphs actually stopped Archaon, and Archaon turned around to hit him. But Gotrek's coming in onto Archaon now, though. Who's gonna die first?
But unless Marcus does that... Oh!
Well, actually, that's good for Marcus that he's on the ground, because, you know, the people in the Warhammer universe, they don't hit people that are down, right? So, I mean, you never hit people that are down. That's just defensive.
Well, as far as Chaos is concerned, I'm sure they don't really care about that. Although we actually see the balance of power shifting in favor of the Empire now, as Archaon's health is dangerously low, and him not putting pressure on Marcus right now is actually going to be his undoing, I think, because as far as ranged combatants go, you do not want to give them space to fire. Especially not when one of them has a net, like now. With Gotrek following up on Archeon, I think it's very likely that Chaos may actually suffer a very critical blow to their forces.
Ooh, yeah, and if Archeon's down, I mean, he's going to go down, either to Marcus or Gotrek. Let's see who hits him next. Oh, he just got slapped down his horse. And now these Demigryphs catch the Chaos Knights. So all of a sudden, it's looking really, really promising for the Empire. And, you know, Marcus has some ammo left, so he can definitely kite if he so wants to. I mean, especially as he actually has great swords in melee. So, you know, they're actually doing something. They're holding against the Chaos Warriors. I don't think this is a unit that's normally brought, though, for the Empire. But, you know, in this case, not doing too terribly. Again, Chaos is going to win the melee engagement, and it's going to take out the Hammer of the Witches. But we'll see if they can finish off Gotrek and Marcus.
I think even if all the Chaos Warriors came together, it would be a bit of a struggle to kill Gotrek at this point.
Yeah.
And he, of course, is pursuing these Chaos Warriors, which are pursuing Marcus, which is running away from them. Kind of a funny situation here. Although Marcus did get caught by Chaos Warriors, and he could die here if he's left alone.
He is.
Not sure what the Empire is doing.
Yeah. Gotrek doesn't want to save him. He's like, screw you.
I guess he decided to go off and find Felix, since he needs someone to write a new chapter in his next book, Demon Slayer. Marcus isn't exactly the most literate of individuals, I suppose.
He's routed. Is he gonna come back? He's only broken, so he might come back. But this definitely gives Chaos a little bit more of a chance if the man himself, Marcus, is killed.
It does, but Demigryph Knights are probably going to clean up these Chaos Warriors, and then Marcus will come back 300 HP and just snipe out the rest of the infantry, I'm sure. It's only a matter of time, I believe.
Yep, just -6 leadership, so he's gonna recover soon. You know, the Jade Wizard is... It's routed for so long, it's moved like 300 meters. It hasn't been killed yet, you know, the Chaos Warriors are not exactly fast people. So,
Yeah, they're quite a bit on the slower side. Gotrek actually is finally caught up to them.
Yeah.
I guess not wearing armor does keep you a little bit light on your feet.
He's gonna kill those guys there. And Chaos Warriors turning back now, which means maybe Jade Wizard will return. However, the Mirror Guard is chasing the Jade Wizard, yes. Gotrek's doing fine on HP, so as you were saying earlier, should be able to take out these Chaos Warriors here. And you know, what happened to Marcus? He's still routing. He has positive leadership. He has positive leadership, but
well,
it says
he
he's
came
broken.
back.
Broken
Yeah,
with positive leadership.
Campfires broken, though. There's also these Demigryphs who are going to support this little scrum with the Chaos Warriors that Gotrek is engaged in right now.
Yeah.
With this hammer, I think that's probably going to cause army losses for the Warriors of Chaos here.
Yeah. That's a good charge. They're wavering, pulling out just to charge again.
That is, at this point, considered an illegal move, but it's up to you to call that.
Yeah, because
single enemies under
only
King's
single
Cup rules
entity.
only count as attacking after 2 minutes have passed. We're at the 9
Yeah,
minute
that's
mark
true.
right
That's
now.
true. That's true. Yeah. The thing is, I mean, probably did it without realizing. I think, and he only did it once, right? I don't know. I think it's.
I don't think it would have
hard to-
changed.
yes.
I don't think it would have changed the outcome of the battle.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I didn't realize it until you said it myself.
Yeah. No one's getting past me. Don't fuck with me.
I mean, it's a little bit of a on the minor side, so I think it's okay.
Something like that, we can let it slide. But I suppose if you're feeling especially mean today, you could have had him disqualified for that.
Yes. No, I'm gonna let this one pass. Not the one with you know, messing up the army, but this one's
Right.
okay. Right. Let's see, stat-wise, what did well here? Well, I mean, Gotrek survived till the end. He did some work. He was the one who got the final hit on Archaon. The Demigryphs here doing some work. And let's see, for Chaos, however... Wow, those Chaos Warriors actually killed a lot. Again, the Great Swords, only 100. Oh, Kafka with the donation. $10. Thanks, man. Well, the RTK supporting RTK again, much appreciated. Awesome. I think you were here in the chat earlier as well. Sorry, I didn't realize you were here. Super busy with casting with the big and beautiful arrow. Okay. I'm going to defuse the situation and start by going over the first build here, which is for the greenskins. So we have Burzag. There he is. Boar. He has actually a lot of stuff. So Dagit, Wa, Foot of Gorg, Rainburster, and yes, he said Wa himself. Good, you approve. Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggins on the left. It's 2 of those with some Night Goblin Squig Hoppers. 2 total as well. Infantry lineup. Well, we have looks like 5 goblins, gold 3. So you know they're moving up in the world. They might hit the next rank soon. Then we have right behind those a bunch of these goblin archers. Well, a mix of goblin archers. I think that's 2 regular ones. Then 3 night goblin archers, one of which is an ROR. It's the Rusty Urs. Doesn't... How many Savage Orc Begins? Yeah, that's 2 of them. And that should be it for the greenskins. I don't think I actually missed anything. You gonna go over the coast now?
Sure. So it looks like these goblins are quite a bit more elite than those marauders we saw a couple matches ago. So we'll see how they do here. So we've got for Fafnir's side 5 zombie pirate deckhand mobs without polearms. One of them is the ROR. We've got 5 with polearms. The Gallows Giant, Luther Harkin up in the air. Solid choice. He does have an ability, I believe it's called Soul Leech or something. Let's find it. Power Siphon, yes. Which sets abilities on cooldown and removes or reduces a unit's vigor. So that is a nice tool for turning the wog off. Just fly overhead and activate that. We have 1 unit of Depth Guard, 2 zombie pirate gunnery mobs with handguns, and a vampire fleet captain of vampires. It's kind of funny when you read this. Vampire fleet captain vampires. Carrying the Drown Dead spell and Invocation of Nahak, so nothing unusual there. Pretty solid build all around. One thing that does concern me here for the Vampire Coast is a pretty noticeable lack of heavy armor, which greenskins struggle with a little bit in this matchup, because most of the heavy armor piercing for them, of course, comes from things like Black Orcs and Cavalry, both of which is very risky to take into this matchup. However, greenskins did actually opt to take some Cavalry, perhaps anticipating a little bit of crab play over here.
Okay, so game started. You can see that both armies moving towards each other. I mean, there's no real artillery in play, so soon we're gonna have the missile phase, which is gonna be Goblin Archers against these gunners of the Vampire Coast. And then again, there's also the Gallows Giant, which has some ammo to expend into those greenskin units. We'll see what happens there. Already we see Luther Harkon as well. He has his own idea of what he wants to do here. He's pretty far up. He's gonna take some damage. See what's gonna happen to him right now. Oh, he cannot move now. The Git has been used on him. So he's been netted, and he's being shot at. That's quite some damage.
Yeah, Harkon is taking quite a bit of damage, and unfortunately he wasn't able to get a power siphon off on Wurzag, so he wasn't able to stop this initial log. However, all of this focus fire on Harkon has actually allowed the Gallows Giant to close the distance to some of these archers, and as you can see, it escorted the Rusty Arrows off, as well as the unit of Night Goblin Archers with just a single volley each. And although the greenskins are starting to win out in the front line in some places, this unit of Depth Guard is going to be very difficult for them to remove from the battlefield. And provided that the archers keep on getting routed by this Gallows Giant over here, and it's also going to be a little bit difficult for the Greenskins to answer that, since it does have somewhat comparable ranged Goblin Archers. 110 to 115, it's going to be kind of hard for them to play within the range of that unit.
So, Harkon, you know, he's not dead, he still has decent HP, so one could argue, like, if those Goblin Archers would have been better spent targeting something else. I mean, still, you know, Harkon, he can actually heal up as well. We'll see how that's going to play out. For the Gallows Giant here, yes, he's engaged. There's going to be some Savage Orc Boy Biggins against him. On the right, however, the Vampirates are actually having some issues because, you know, there's 2 units that are free now for the Greenskins. Oh, there's a big Foot of Gorg. Huge hit on those gunnery mobs.
Ooh. Absolutely destroying 2 of these units. However, one of them is actually summoned, so that one doesn't quite matter as much. But as we can see, the Greenskins are starting to fall apart in the front line. Luther Harkon has taken quite a bit of damage, but like with all single entities, if you don't actually manage to finish it off, then what you've essentially done is waste time and resources trying to kill it. And of course, I think the Gallows Giant, in fact, presents a slightly larger threat to his army, because the morale damage against Greenskins is pretty pertinent, and there aren't any units here like Black Orcs which are resistant to Fear and Terror. So I think that the highest priority should be getting the Gallows Giant off the field instead of Harkon.
Ooh, and that was a good hit on the Goblins from Luther Harkon. Gallows Giant, yes, he's alive. He still has, looks like, just over 4,000 HP. Now, all the Goblin Archers seem to be targeting either the Depth Guard. No, they're not targeting the Depth Guard. They're targeting the Fleet Captain, who's now engaging those Goblins, because, you know, those Goblins will be routed soon. Very good. Now, the Gallows Giant is engaged in melee with Wurzag. Not sure why Wurzag came up close like that, but looks like he's finally gonna run away from there. Here comes Harkon, though. We'll see what he can do.
We got a Brain Burster coming in on this little group of Zombie Pirate Deckhand mobs. Balance of Power is looking pretty good for the Greenskins right now, but if this Gallows Giant gets free and starts shooting at all of these Goblin Archers in the back line, then it could be a bit of a problem. And although they have wheeled up into range of Luther Harkon, and he is actually possibly going to die here, I believe that the... Oh, never mind. Actually, the cavalry for the Greenskins was able to crumble off the Death Guard, so with that, I think that there just aren't enough tools left for the Vampire Coast to really close this game out. The Archer line is going to be very difficult to compromise at this point, I think, since Gallows Giant is going to have a hard time freeing itself long enough to shoot. Although Harkon miraculously survives that gooning attempt, so provided he can stay alive for the rest of the battle, it is possible that the Gallows Giant can just simply run the rest of these Goblin Archers out of ammo. Between
what a hit.
killing them and the heck.
Huh.
That was...
The next one.
Oh no. Well, that hit
Not
wasn't
that
quite
much.
as good, but
Yeah.
yeah, that is a lot of damage for sure. And repeating that process 1 or 2 more times may just actually be the end of this Greenskin missile line. You
Yeah.
have to be very careful when playing within the range of Gallows Giant, because with the most recent change to explosion damage last patch, the Flamethrower, although it was already fairly potent, has become even better at clearing through hordes of not even just chaff, even higher tier infantry suffers quite a bit against it.
The heck on the Gallows Giant, by the way, healing him up quite a lot. He's gained a lot of HP, so this could actually change the situation, because now he's gonna have more time to spend like targeting those archers down. So I don't know, this, and looks like a lot of Greenskin units have been routed off the field, so kind of hard to tell what's going on here. Ooh, more archers coming back. Let's see what the Gallows Giant is gonna do here.
This could be bad for these archers, and for the Greenskins as well. It's a unit of archers shattered.
Kills
Almost
on this.
entirely killed in that volley, actually. There's only 6 of them left. Gallows Giant is up to 305 kills, and counting. Wurzag eats a flamethrower to the face. And although Harkin is not in the greatest shape, he's definitely capable of sniping Wurzag out at this point, so he has to be really careful. I don't know what Shade Kill is doing here, bringing Wurzag in like this. This is a very precarious situation here. If he gets taunted or hornswoggled and then Harkin dives on him from the back, then this could be a very quick end for the Greenskin.
Yep. So the polearms are gonna rout off of those goblins, because, you know, polearms are just crumbling. Meanwhile, those goblins, they can actually rout because they're greenskins, so there's no crumbling mechanic for them. The Gallows Giant is starting to lose more HP, but, I mean, again, the greenskins are losing units. Goblin Archers coming in some interesting formation. We'll see if that's gonna help them against the Gallows Giant or not, because before their formation was super blocky, I think, which actually made the Gallows Giant hit pretty well.
If I'll be entirely honest, I think this formation is quite a bit worse.
Yeah.
Although, it seems that with these Savage Orc Biggins closing in, the Gallows Giant might go down here, and with that, that could be the game for the Greenskins, in fact. Yep, Gallows Giant goes down, no more in the heck. Looks like it's no in the heck November now.
Yeah, definitely. Couldn't heal that up. Harkon does rout off those Goblin Archers, but he doesn't have any support left. He's just solo.
Oh. Yeah, this would have been a nice move to make a lot sooner, because now Harkin's just going to have to stay on the ground and fight something.
Yeah.
And I see a half-health unit of Savage Orc Biggins that definitely wants a piece of his face. All 10 of them, I guess.
Ooh, he's really trying to get Wurzag, but he can't. Okay. Where is he gonna start crumbling?
He's
No.
going for it.
He has too much leadership still. There's no army losses yet. Surprisingly.
Although he will rapidly lose leadership as he flies around, not on the ground. So as soon as he disengages and starts going for Wurzag, unless he can actually manage to catch him, then this will be a pretty bad situation. Hornswoggle comes down slowing him, so he may actually catch him. And if Wurzag goes down, it is possible for these Savage Orc Biggins to get terrified. Ooh, really big hit to Greenskin leadership there. Is Terra gonna carry the day?
Ooh.
I don't know.
Wavering.
Ooh, Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggins are out of there. They're shattered. Goblins coming in, Savage Orc Biggins coming in. I'm not sure why they're advancing in a conga line, but maybe this is to lessen impact damage. I'm not exactly sure, to be honest.
Ooh. Yeah, the thing is,
Ooh, no.
if they're
Savage
advancing
Orc
like
Biggins
that,
are gone.
if they're advancing like that, they can't actually surround Harkon. And that's the game.
Wow.
That's the game.
Well,
I have not seen such a turnaround actually yet in Warhammer 2. From that like
Yeah,
balance
that's
of power. That was like so much balance of power wise in favor of greenskins. That's like
Yeah.
amazing. One left, you know, and that's the Lord.
I'm so sad here. This Gallows Giant could have had way more kills than that. I would have loved to see this with like 400 plus. That would be insane.
Well, this was definitely a very fun one to watch. I had a lot of fun. Oh my god, 262 on Savage Orc Biggins? What?
Yeah. They ripped right through those deckhands.
Oh.
And let's see.
Yep.
Do we think
Yeah,
Weaver is
how
still
does-
too strong? Well, he's always been very strong, but he's also expensive. I think he's kind of a use case with Cetra, where it's extremely expensive but a justifiable cost, and the fact that he's not a caster is something that you have to consider to a degree, so I think his power level's fine. He is a bit strong, but, you know, why should it be weak? Right?
Okay. I'll take Bretonia because I love Bretonia. So, alright,
Okay.
here we go.
I can imagine why.
We have the Fae Enchantress. She is, again, the single wizard. So, yeah. Alright, let's see what we got. Our Chalice of Potions.
Before you continue,
Yes.
Toto, could you check Mounted Yeoman?
Oh, you're already...
I don't know. if
Wait,
Warhammer-
I'm here. Wait, what's happening?
We need to check Mounted Yeoman. I don't know if Warhammer Cup rules make a distinction between the ranged and non-ranged variant. I'm assuming it does.
It does. It does.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're good.
We're good? Yeah, we're good. Okay, where did she move? Where did he move? Lord, there it is. Okay, so Fey Enchantress again. She has the Chalice of Potions, Favor of the Fey, Arcane Conduit, Regrowth, Earthblood, Mist of the Lady, because of course, bring that, Life Bloom, and that's it for her. And supporting her, we have 2 Paladins. There they are, up in the air. One of them has, one of them doesn't have anything special, the other has a Guardian. In terms of missiles, we do have a bunch of these peasant bowmen. Let's see what kind of mix we have here. So, actually, all 4 of them are with fire arrows, no poison or anything else. Then we have 2 mounted yeomen on the right. That's rank 1, bronze 1, so to speak. On the left, 2 mounted yeomen archers and an ROR that got moved somewhere. It is, yeah, the wardens of on 4. And also 2 all the way over there, which got moved in the back. So very interesting vanguarding from Bretonnia. Anyway, I'm gonna let you go over the build because, you know, things are happening. The game has started.
All right, sure. So on the Skaven side, we have a Doom Wheel, 2 Warp Lightning Cannons, Skrulk, an Assassin. Looks to me like 3 units of Rat Ogres. We've got the Clan Vulcan Tail Slashers, Council Guard, probably 5 units of Skaven Slaves, 4 Skaven Slave Spears, and then 1 unit of Warplock Jezzails. So right off the bat, I can see that the Bretonnians are trying to take a bit of a circuitous route through the tree line to try to avoid some of the missile fire. Something that does concern me about this Bretonnian army, though, is that most factions that try to or that go especially light in the front line against Skaven tend not to really fare very well because Skaven have a lot of like mid-tier support tools which they can use to swing these like engagements between low-tier troops. So it can be a little bit dangerous using nothing but mounted yeomen as your cavalry because they do not have a whole lot of holding power. And the 54 leadership that they have right now is very fragile, and on top of that, they also don't threaten Rat Ogres in melee because their combat stats are a bit too poor. So it's going to require a lot of very careful positioning from Bretonnia. Ironically, they're actually going to have to play out of their infantry this game instead of their cavalry, I think, because mounted yeomen won't be making any plays. They're just a follow-up unit.
Yeah, we have the Holy Warriors. Holy Wardens of the Maison Tal and supporting the Battle Pilgrims. And yeah, some Spearmen at Arms. Went around here, men at arms with pole arms. Yeah, that's the. I actually didn't. I missed a lot of those units, I think, when I went over them. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, it happens.
Yes. No big deal, because we saw them before the engagement, so that's important. All right. Well, you know, we know what's gonna happen here. This Bretonnian's moving in, trying to engage and make sure that Ardy has least amount of time to fire as possible. Ooh, there's a hit from the cannons.
Skrulk right now is in a little bit of a dangerous position, although if he has the support of this Doom Wheel, then he may be alright. Favor of the Fae was just popped on one of the Paladins. I can't tell which of the 2 it is, though. I think it's the one that's being hit by the Liber Bonicus right now. No, it's the other one. Okay, so right now Amber is making an effort to actually get rid of the Paladin that had Guardian. So oh wait, no. Never mind, she hit the one that didn't provide Guardian. Forget what I just said.
Okay. These yeomen are in trouble here. They're getting hit really massively by it. If they route here, they're very close to the end of the map. So they might just route off the field. It's very possible.
Right. Yeah, so exactly as I was saying, mounted yeomen are so lacking in quality that they can't really hold up to this kind of pressure being fired on by Warp Lightning Cannons and attacked by Rat Ogres, and we're going to see 3 of them just march straight off the battlefield. And it seems like Bretonnia is having trouble just finding the targets that they want. Their infantry is buzzing through the front line, but the Doom Wheel, if it stays alive, will kill all of them, and Skrulk can definitely work a couple of units down between summons as well. Pretty nice Pestilent Breath ripping through the Holy Wardens there. And the Assassin is caught out a little bit. Definitely a snipeable target, but right now, because of the loss of those mounted yeomen, Central Scrutinizer is a lot more concerned with getting rid of some of this missile pressure.
Yeah, and his mounted yeoman archers there, I mean, they were really only firing at the Skaven slave spears, which kind of weird. I mean, there they go. They're also supporting the peasant bowmen with fire arrows now. Lots of fire going on into those rat ogres from those peasant bowmen. Meanwhile, the Grail Reliquary is supporting the Holy Wardens against the clan rats. 2 paladins taking care of the assassin right there in melee. We'll see how quickly they can get him. They were actually killing the Warplock Jezzails before, which are still in the field, wavering though. We'll see if they rout off eventually. Probably not, because the paladins are out of there. Now, Fey Enchantress is coming around. We'll see where she's gonna go. She's gonna go... I thought she was gonna go into those laners with shields, but nope, that is not the case. Meanwhile, the Rat Ogres and the Skaven Slave Spears, they're causing havoc in the back line of the Bretonnia and actually routing the peasant bowmen.
Yeah, with the Doom Wheel back there, it's going to be very difficult for these peasant bowmen to keep up their leadership. I actually would have liked to see the Grail Relic being held back in reserve next to the archers, because Bretonnian bowmen are actually very cost-effective if you look at their stats alone. However, they have really poor leadership. It's even lower than Skaven Slave Slingers, I believe. Base leadership of 36, it's very easy to disrupt them. So with the Doom Wheel just coming in and rolling some of them over, they'll be gone in an instant. See one of them getting run down right here. It already got terrified, but even without terror, I think it's probably going to grab a contact. And there it goes. So the Bretonnians are just having a very hard time keeping up the pressure right now. And of course, the Fey Enchantress and one of these paladins is in pretty decent shape, but they alone are not going to carry this battle.
Yeah. The thing is that just because the Bretonnian units are spending so much time routing, they're not spending time shooting. Even though they will come back eventually, because that's Bretonnia. When they get routed, they tend to come back a lot. But oh, that's a huge hit on the mounted yeoman archers. So I mean, Bretonnia still has some tools on the field, but I don't think enough. The paladins are all very low here. One of them is actually routed, and the other is gonna hit those cannons here. But I mean, that still shouldn't be enough. We'll see though. Mounted yeoman archers is on the field. The Grail Reliquary has been surrounded, so it is gonna go down. Peasant bowman getting hit by Skaven Slave Spears as well. So I think it's starting to be the beginning of the end here for Bretonnia.
Yeah, definitely not looking too great for the peasants. I think that the main issue for Central Scrutinizer here was just not investing enough into his cavalry. He needed more punch, and he needed a lot more pressure. I think Knights of the Realm and Knights Errant would have been a much better pick, even if it meant cutting down on a couple of archers.
Oh my
Because
goodness.
realistically, you don't really need that much missile pressure against Skaven.
Oh, the Skaven Slave Spears just took a massive hit.
Yeah. Paladins are going into the back line to clean up the missile units, but, I mean, honestly, there's still this full health, completely untouched, well, now it's been touched, unit of Stormvermin Halberds, and Skulk himself is also in perfect condition.
It's gonna be the important engagement here with the Fey Enchantress and the 2 Paladins. I think the Rat Ogres probably will go down, but the new Rat Ogres, however, those will be doing quite a bit of damage. Let's see if they want to disengage or if they want to stay in there and fight. Hard to say. It looks like he's disengaging right now. He wants to hit other units, Amber rather. She wants to get the support of Rat Ogres and.
Yeah, I don't
Rat
really
Ogres,
agree with the choice to pull that unit of Rat Ogres out of combat, because she did have Paladins pinned in, and did end up suffering a couple of hits in the back instead. So you can see now that Bretonnian Heroic Corps will be able to escape.
Yeah.
And then as far as the backline for Bretonnia is concerned, you just have a bunch of slaves that are swarming the back lines. Men-at-Arms with polearms are defending some of their brethren, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough, because the Doom Wheel has had this whole battle completely uncontested. The only real counter to it being Paladins, and they were busy trying to shut down missile the whole time.
And Amber's starting to blob per units. Dread Ogres with Skulk and the Assassin, as well as the Council Guard. So I guess she is really trying to make sure that Scroll doesn't die here. Due to the Paladins and the Enchantress, maybe they can't snipe Scroll in that situation.
Yep. So now the 45 seconds, 10-minute mark will pass. And once that's over, these single MVs will count as attacking. So from that point on, it will be legal if either player chooses to cycle charge without the Doom Wheels or Heroes. But I think there's a pretty high chance of these Paladins getting caught here. I'd expect at least one of them to go down. They are caught up a little bit by all this mass. Pegasi don't have most mass themselves. It's a little bit difficult for them to pass through the units of infantry.
Well, I mean, one of them's routed and will come back, but he's taken so much damage that he, like, with 600 HP, he gets touched and he dies. Well, not quite just getting touched, but, you know, touched a little bit more and he dies. So Spearman at Arms with Fey Enchantress, it's gonna be rough for them considering lots of these Rat Ogres coming in. Hit the rear of them. It'll be really bad for them.
And what's also is really bad, it's the fact that 10 minutes rule doesn't exist since the release of the newest rule set, so I'm always mistaken.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
thank God they got rid of that then.
Oof.
Okay, good. Great. So screw that. I'm pretty happy with that. All right. So,
Oh, one Paladin.
despite that, though, the Paladins are going after the Doom Wheel and actually losing in combat to it, just because of how beat up they are. One of them gets hit with an Assassin's Trophy, so its melee defense is down to 13, and heal capped at 915 health. It's definitely going to be in a little bit of trouble. In a lot of trouble, actually, as it gets run off the battlefield. The Bretonians have resecured a little bit of a missile line here in the back, but I still don't see how they're getting rid of this Doom Wheel. It does have 100 armor and 2,000 HP. I think even if it sat in these men-at-arms with full arms, it would probably still just kill them.
That is a good Earthblood, but I doubt it's gonna be enough though. I mean, yeah, he needs the heals. The Scrutinizer. Ooh, that's a good hit as well onto this
Solid
pistol.
Pestilent Threat coming in, disrupting the Archer Fire, and then following up the Red Ogres. They'll be off the battlefield relatively soon, and this... The blob of all blobs here, moving in on these men-at-arms with full arms, just going to sweep through the battlefield, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that makes it easier for the Bretonians to fire with the Peasant Bowmen, but there are not many left, so that doesn't really make a huge difference right now.
Right, and with all the Paladins gone, any hopes of sniping the scroll has also disappeared with it. The Fey Enchantress could hypothetically rack up a ton of kills against Council Guard just due to her Mists of the Lady trait, but there are still Rat Ogres aplenty, and I believe the Assassin is also around half health, perfectly capable of dispatching her.
He is now surrounded, so, you know,
That's game.
yeah, game here. Actually trying to run away, or no, she got routed. Wasn't sure what was going on there. Yeah, there goes Skaven victory. No.
Yes, Davina. Paladins do lack armor piercing, but they have a decent enough hit rate, and I think the armor piercing is still somewhere in like the 180 to 200, so it does add up. Especially given how cheap they are. I think on Pegasi like that, they only cost 975.
All right,
Anyway, army builds.
I'll go for Erwin Smith, also Valor of Agartha, apparently. That's the name I know him best
Right.
with. Okay, so we have Alariel, the Radiant. Of course, what you'd expect with... Come on, show me. Okay, Star of Avalorn, Arcade Conduit, Earthblood, and Fast Protection. Again, she is single. Wizard, that is. We have in the back some Silver Helms. Both of them with shields. One vet, one. And then the Fireborn. So we'll see how well they do here. Looks like a very skirmishy type of build. We also see 3 Illyrian Reaver archers. Moondragon. and a Star Dragon, and then there's some vanguardy things from Zegan, but I'll let you talk about it.
Mind
Yeah.
checking models. Mind checking models.
Yeah,
with
very
that.
good idea.
273, it's fine.
Yes,
All
just
right.
barely.
Unfortunately, but yeah. And also in Infinitum, this is not Cancer, this is Full Kite. Maybe the two aren't mutually exclusive. So over here for Chaos, we've got a unit of Chaos Warriors, a unit of Chosen, 2 Chaos Marauders, the Mirror Guard, Kolek, a Metal Caster with Final Transmutation, and Plague of Rust. There's the Soul of Damnation Hell Cannon, a unit of Marauder Horsemen, 2 of them actually, and 2 units of Standard Chaos Knights. So the nice thing about his army is that he does have the Soul of Damnation to skirmish with the High Elf army here, so he will fulfill the attacking rule by shooting at him. The unfortunate thing is that he has nothing to stop these dragons from breathing on it and then forcing him to pursue him, which fighting against Kite is definitely not an easy skill. It requires a lot of patience, and I think that's something that...
That's a really big hit onto the Reaver Archers.
Yeah, solid hit on the Reaver Archers. Not sure why an Earthblood was thrown down there. It doesn't recover models. This is not in the hack.
Not
So, down to 34 of those go. Taking quite a bit of damage here, but again, as I was saying, there's nothing really stopping these dragons from flying over and breathing on the Soul of Damnation, which they really should do right now. 2 horsemen are not going to put enough pressure to actually kill them or burst them down in any meaningful manner.
Here come... I think the dragons are starting to position for some breath attacks. From what I'm seeing from the Moon Dragon, maybe. Potentially.
They are wheeling around, but I'm not sure.
Let's see. I'm betting the Moon Dragon's gonna try something. We'll see.
Let's see. 2 breath attacks on this Hell Cannon should kill it.
Oh, still in
I
position.
see... No?
Oh,
No,
here
not
it comes. Yes, here it comes.
There we go. There's one.
And it's dead.
Wow,
Is it?
actually
Yeah.
didn't even need the Star Dragon. Look at
Yeah.
that.
With the Moon Dragon.
That is impressive.
Yeah, very good.
Probably got poked down by the archers a little bit, which allowed this to happen. So from here, it's going to be up to Zegan to skirmish back with the High Elves and try to find an ideal engagement. Using the Chosen to block these Lyran Reaver archers, definitely a savvy play. They don't have tons of armor piercing, and coming in with the only unit in the game with, I think, a 65% missile block chance. Or 60% missile block chance. So they're definitely going to be able to a lot of this archer fire, and I think the name of the game for Chaos here would probably be to run the High Elves out of ammo, because I'm not sure if Zegan's in a great position to catch the Reaver Archers out of position. He could make some fancy maneuvers with the Chaos Knights, and that would bait the dragons into landing on something, which could then, perhaps follow up with Kolek and then dispatch one of them, which would put him pretty far ahead in terms of the
Breath
battle.
attack coming? The Chosen? Oh, yes.
Oh,
Very good breath
oh
attack.
no.
Yeah, the breaths are coming in.
Yeah, definitely something that Zegan should have kept an eye out for. When the dragons start moving to the flank, you have to be very cognizant of any unusual throat undulations from that flying beast. So, we've got the Reaver Archers moving in once again, just trying to skirmish here. Neither player is attacking right now, so just keep an eye on that, and if they take too long, then we'll have to say something.
That's another big breath, actually. Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I mean, the
pretty-
Reaver Archers are moving forward, so they're gonna start shooting. I assume very
Yep,
soon.
taking
Chaos
shots
Knight.
at Chaos? No.
Oh,
at the
Marauder Horseman. Yeah,
now.
okay.
Personally, I would actually like to see the High Elves focusing down the Mirror Guard instead of the Chosen. It's the only unit on the field that has immunity to terror.
Right now, how is Zegan gonna be... I mean, I guess he has to shoot with his Marauder Horseman to be considered as attacking, right? That's
Well,
like
in an army
yeah.
like this, what you should do is play from your infantry. So you just force a screen with the infantry, so that the only unit that they can shoot at is, all of these shielded Chaos Warriors have chosen. And then you just kind of move forward a little bit slowly, since you can't really catch anything by speed alone, and try to outmaneuver them. So you're going for little encirclements, perhaps grabbing the Chaos Knights and kind of trying to corral his cavalry in, thus allowing you to make some moves there. And of course, if you're playing from your infantry and he gets a little bit hasty and tries to front charge you, then
Right, guys, but Zigan is taking the piss. He's not attacking at all. He's
Yeah,
only
that's
running
what I was
away.
thinking.
yeah,
That's what I was wondering about.
As you Aro said, he has plenty of tools to actually fight with this. So
yeah, he's being too passive right now.
Yeah.
Zegan, you're going to need to attack a little bit
so-
more.
I have something to say. Like, I really love the build of the High Elves, but it's really cheesy. So.
it is cheesy, but it's actually
Yes.
highly competitive.
Yes. But I do like it though.
I'm gonna copy it. I'm gonna actually copy it and piss off people in the camera.
I have a build kinda like this, but not exactly.
I mean, it does work, for sure, but the problem with this against cavalry,
Yeah, he's writing something. He needs to move forward with his whole army. Well, not with his whole army, he needs to at least use the Marauder Horsemen.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, at
attack
least.
up with infantry.
Yes.
If it's not
Or
the game's
shoot.
fault, you didn't predict a build. But also
Yeah.
Erwin stopped attacking because Zigan is not attacking, so it's a fucking moot point right now.
alright.
Well, no, right. So Erwin started attacking, he's fulfilling the rule. I think
Yeah.
he got
He
the
was shooting dragons, and he is clearly making maneuvers to attack, so we'll give him a pass here.
Yeah, right now he's fine. Oh, is the breath coming? We'll see if it hits.
Looks like it. Ooh, that is not good. He needs these Chaos Knights
Yeah.
to stopgap for Kolek.
Price-
Kolek's gonna have trouble killing 2 dragons at once. He needs that buffer.
Yeah, I mean, Alariel with her healing, like, eating 2 dragons is gonna be so hard. Even,
Alright, well,
yeah.
Zegan is attacking, but Erwin, he's repositioning. He is expressing intent to attack
Yeah,
with the
he-
cavalry.
Brought up
Well.
his Fireborn now. He brought up the other units, and he's shooting with the Reaver
Yep.
Archers.
Okay, now Zegan, this is actually kind of funny. He's using the Soul of Damnation crew to chase after the cavalry.
Well, they're
that,
gonna
that
die.
does count. That does count. So
They're gonna
Totally.
die. They're gonna die. So,
But
that's
it is
fine.
attacking.
yes.
He's
yes,
attacking.
He's attacking. Yes.
as long as he's attacking, doesn't matter. Whatever.
But
And in the meantime, hence this match is so exciting. Erasmus is out. Symbol 6-1.
oh,
Symbol 6-1.
Okay. Oh, another breath onto the Chaos
Oh,
Knights. Ouch!
yeah.
Ouch!
All right. So basically, actually, let me just talk about strategies to counter this army. So, like I was saying earlier, you do have to play from the infantry. But the main point is that, or the main issue with what Zegan's doing is that he's not actually forcing Erwin to micro particularly aggressively. He's not stressing his micro, and he's not putting him in a position where he needs plays. Like, there's nothing that's under threat of being caught. There's nothing that, like for example, actually, Kolek is fast enough to catch some of these units. So if he's advancing with Kolek, with Chaos Knights in support, then it's very difficult for these dragons to land on him. And from that, he can just kind of move around and kind of force these units into bad positions where they might be forced, in order to fulfill the attacking role, to shoot at less than optimal targets, like the infantry. Right now, Erwin doesn't really care about the infantry. He can terrify this, and his dragons can kill it. That's not what's important. What is important are these Chaos Knights and Kolek, and as you can see, what he did here, so that could have been a good bait, but what he did kind of an error that he made is that Kolek is a little bit too far behind to follow up on this. However, Alariel gets caught, and she could get stuck here.
But
She does get hit with the Plague of Rust, so her armor is down to 0, but Kolek needs to follow up on this instantly. There we go, perfect. So that's a pick on Alariel as soon as Kolek decides to poke her with his hammer. There we go. That's one. And now the infantry needs to follow up and screen out for this engagement to happen. So right here you see the Marauders are blocking. Star of Avalorn is just forced out of this engagement. Alariel's getting absolutely destroyed. And then the Star Dragon is now forced in. This forces a huge blob for the final transmutation. So now we've got all of these single entities and the cavalry being punished. And in the meantime, this was great timing because the Moon Dragon was attempting to escort the Marauder Horsemen off the battlefield. And it was just dragged back, having not even completed that. Because as you can see, the Marauder Horsemen are back. Unfortunately, Alariel manages to escape through the creases in this little cavalry blob, so that is one unfortunate thing. However, the Fireborn are now terrified, and they're getting run off since Alariel's not in a position to support them. And the Chaos Knights are now in the perfect position to start chasing down these Silver Helms and start kind of aggressively blocking, I guess I'll say, for these units. Fireborn come back from Terror, but I don't think Irwin's going to catch them in time, and boom, there goes another 4 or 5 models. Now they're down to 16 models, 13, 16 HP. This unit is basically combat ineffective. Over here now, the Chaos Sorcerer is getting caught out a little bit, but this can also be turned into a bait. There is a unit of Chaos Knights nearby, and if these single entities get stuck on the ground, then it's going to be a little bit difficult for the High Elves to extricate themselves from that situation. But unfortunately, there was no follow-up, and that Chaos Sorcerer is now free real estate. So Irwin has 1 volley left on his cavalry, so he's going to have to seek engagements from there. As soon as he runs out, he won't be able to fall back on this, on just kiting the army route.
Well,
Dragon Princes, Fireborn come into battle. They get caught by the Chaos Knights and Kolek, so those are out. And now Kolek has done a ton of damage to this army. The dragons are still fairly healthy, but Fireborn are completely out of commission. Both of the Silver Helms are down to about half health. Tons of infantry still left on the Chaos side, and despite the Chosen being around half health, they are still fairly effective against units like Valyrian Reaver Archers, and with Kolek supporting their leadership, then these dragons will probably also have a bit of a difficult time terrifying them off. Now, right now, looks like Irwin is going for this isolated unit of Mirror Guard here. Okay, now I'm going to have to give Irwin, you need to attack.
Yeah.
Single entities don't count.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
So now we have to warn Irwin because he's out of ammo, so he's not allowed. He has to. He was about to charge the Mirror Guard, that would have been perfect. But he pulled the Silver
going for
back.
it.
Now they're going in for the charge, so this is
they're gonna
good.
hit them
However,
back.
Zegan here, this would be the perfect situation for him. This is the Mirror Guard are immune to terror.
Oh wait.
So this Moon Dragon and the Star Dragon following up actually isn't that big of a deal.
He
so
can't.
he just needs to take.
Is he allowed to pull out here?
What was that?
Is he allowed to pull out the camp in this situation?
No, he is not.
No, he's not. Erwin is. I'm fine with Kite. You know me. I don't complain about Kite at all. I like Kite, but he's.
It's
if he does it again, if he leaves Sam fighting and he's pulling
oh,
cavalry
he's pulling out
he's-
everything. He's pulled out
Wait,
everything.
is he? No, he's just running through,
He's
What's
pulling out
happening?
everything.
and he's no shooting. He doesn't have any ammunition
Yes.
left, right?
Oh, that's
Yep,
not good.
he's out of-
This isn't
He
good.
doesn't have any ammo left.
What are we gonna do here? Is that the final warning? Are we gonna have this is final warning?
Right. Sam don't count as attacking, so he either stays and fight with at least 1 unit, or
All right. So this is a fair engagement. He does have cavalry engaged, so this is fine.
Yes. Well, the Chaos Knights will die to the Silver Helms probably on part of, they're not getting supported.
and here comes Kolek.
Yes.
All right. Kolek comes in. should be able to put quite a bit of hurt down in this Star Dragon. And there is a lot of infantry saturating this fight, so it should be fairly difficult for the dragons to get solid contact on the Kolek. I would actually go for the Moon Dragon before the Star Dragon, only because it's an easier target to kill.
Yeah.
And you also want to prevent these units from gaining too many chevrons, just given how the chevron bug works. There is this unit of gold rank Chaos Warriors, which have 52 melee defense, which is kind of functioning as Kolek's bodyguard unit right now. So that works. Lyrian Reaver Archers, there is one unit of them that is remaining in combat, and there is another flank of them, of course, pulling through the side.
Yeah.
So, looks like the balance of power is just slipping away from Chaos here. A lot of their units got picked off on the flanks, and holding their leadership together is just being a little bit of an issue. So here's the thing now. So,
Can you zoom out? Can you zoom out, please?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, because he's cycle charging with his units, and because you do this so many, we don't know if he's actually keeping something in the fight.
So here's the thing. So he did cycle charge twice. And if it were up to me, that would be grounds for disqualification.
Did he cycle charge in that blob? Did he leave something in? I couldn't see because BP just decided to focus
when
on
he was in the blob, hold on.
Well, here's the thing, Infi, so if it wasn't for that, then like you could just be like
Alright, so here's the thing. So Irwin cycled twice. There were two occasions where he quite clearly broke the rule, and then there were another two where it was kind of questionable whether or not he was actually seeking an engagement when he did run out of ammo. So then my question is that enough to award Zegan the win for that match?
But
if it's up to me, I would say yes, because I walk into these things with zero tolerance.
So I'm gonna go over, let's say, Irwin's army, aka Balor. So we have Karl Franz, hippogriff here with Galmaraz, the Reichland Runefang, and Blood Roar thingy-majig. Then we have, where are the casters? So we have a Jade Wizard. He has Regrowth and Earthblood. Simple enough. We have a Warrior Priest with, of course, Shield of Faith, Scroll of Power, Hammer of Sigmar, and stuff like, you know, Addiction, whatever, all that other stuff. Then we have, interestingly enough, 3 Great Swords, Vet 1, I think? No, one's Vet 1, so this could work depending on the build of Chaos, I guess. Then we have 2 Spearmen with shields, both are actually Silver 1, so wonder like what Spearmen with shields at Silver 1 do, like what specifically they are for. Other than that, for Cavalry, we have the Altdorf Griffites, Griff Knights with halberds, and of course up front 2 units of Outriders. This is what I guess what Aaron Smith is gonna use to count as attacking. Now, what do we have for Chaos?
For the Chaos side, we're looking at a huge spam of Marauders. So we've got 5 with shields, 4 with great weapons, or as I like to call them, not so great weapons. We have 3 units of Chaos Spawn, a Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, and Sartorial the Everwatcher with, this time, in addition to the normal spell kit of Final Transmutation and Plague of Rust, he also has Searing Doom. I am a little bit interested by this Empire army, to be honest, because normally if you were going to camp and kite, instead of great swords, you would probably opt for something like halberdiers.
Yeah.
Just so that you have a more effective screen for your units, but this does guarantee, since he is investing a little bit more in infantry, that he does win more parts of the infantry fight, so thus has to support fewer areas. Choice of the warrior priest is also excellent, although something that I have an issue with personally is that most of the time you don't need both demigryphs in the same spot. They'll just kind of, get twisted on top of each other, and it only really works if you're fighting against either monstrous infantry, or if there are like 2 or more single enemies in the same general vicinity. So I'm not really too much a fan of this clustering right here. It looks like Sartorial's coming in with the Searing Doom. I'd say a little bit mistimed. It's going to be dodged fairly easily. Yeah, barely any damage out of that one, and unfortunately I believe that's also cast, so...
Okay.
There is that. Karl Franz. So Chaos is going to have to be very careful about any blob that Franz jumps into, because he himself represents enough power to solo a Shaggoth. And given that Sartorial, the Monster Core consists of just Sartorial and the Shaggoth, they're both going to need to work together to take Karl down. It's a good thing that he's staying away from this blob over here, because the Warrior Priest and Karl both have not activated any of their buffs. And just as I say that, of course, he activates his buffs.
Yeah.
Oh no, this is not when you want to be going in. So Karl's going to peel out, then we're going to have the demigryphs coming in, and then if Chaos takes this as a blob fight, I think this is going to favor the Empire pretty heavily. But it seems like the Empire actually decided to concede this fight instead. So I guess this Warrior Priest is just going to die in a ditch surrounded by Chaos Spawn, and the Empire will be looking for engagements elsewhere.
Yeah, interesting choice. I'm not so sure about that. Meanwhile, though, the Great Swords on the other side though, are actually doing some work, but they're about to be met by these Chaos Spawn. We'll see how they do against those. Demigryphs, though, are now supporting the right flank, and with there's Karl Franz. He's actually not really doing anything right now, so I don't know about that. He's kind of stayed out of combat for too long, I think. But anyway, Warrior Priest still alive. That's good. What's going on here in this blob?
Yep, Warrior Priest is still alive, but now we've got the blob thing, and the Shaggoth is caught out of position. He is almost 100% dead. Right here, I think. Well, actually make that 100% dead. So with the Shaggoth gone, things are looking really bad for Chaos, I'd say. Because Karl obviously is just going to run away, heal back to full, and then Sartorial won't really be able to do anything to him. It'll just be a matter of whether or not you can drag him down through tons of armor-piercing infantry, I think. And this blob right now that the buffs are starting to expire a little bit, will favor Chaos, since they are starting to trickle in infantry support. But Karl is a huge threat here. One regrowth. If Karl gets away, one regrowth basically win the game for the Empire. But it seems like he's getting staggered and stuck on Chaos Spawn.
Ooh, this isn't good for
Maybe
him.
not. Ooh.
He's slow. There's an Earthblood. It's gonna help him, but he's really surrounded right now.
Yep, that's an Earthblood. Really nice move from Zegan, wheeling some Chaos Spawn around Karl to pin him in. So the Demigryph Knights are going to try to jump in to bail him out. I do see an out for Karl. It looks like Erwin did as well, so he's going to be running through that little gap that presented. Really unfortunate for Chaos, because that was probably their best chance of winning the game here. Although Karl's going to dive back in.
Yeah, he wants Sartorial. I'm not sure about this.
Wants a piece of that chicken, but I don't know if he'll be able to get it.
No.
They are both in pitched combat here, and Karl did get a Plague of Rust on him. Sartorial doesn't have terrible combat stats, so he can deal some damage against low armored units. And Karl normally does have high armor, except when he's Plague of Rusted.
Also, Jade Wizard is gonna go down here, so no more Earthblood, no more regrowth. So it's gonna be important because Chaos Marauders are on the Jade Wizard. Outriders getting some good shots into this blob though. They might hit Sartorial. Oh, he's gonna
We're
reposition
actually
them.
shooting Sartorial.
Yeah.
So this is going to be. This is a pretty dangerous situation. Sartorial does have massive, but his armor is only 30, so focus firing him is still relatively effective. Um, yeah, running this Jade Wizard off is crucial for Chaos getting back into this game, though, because the infantry for the Empire can only do so much.
Yeah. And, you know, Erwin has to consider, like, he's gonna be out of ammo soon, so he will have to start engaging soon enough.
Yes, we may find ourselves in a similar situation to next game, so since we've already issued him a warning, at the first sign of any foul play, then I'm going to cut the game right there.
Right. He is repositioning his Outriders right now to try and get some shots
Great
off.
swords coming into combat.
Yes. Yes. And so it looks like he just wants to use the Great Swords as anvil, and the Demigryphs, he just charges in and gets back out. This is a close game right now, though. Still can't tell like who's gonna win here. You know, if Sartorial gets sniped, then that's gonna be really bad for Chaos, of course.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
To me, the most important units for Chaos right now are these Marauders with great weapons and the Chaos Spawn. As long as the Chaos Spawn stay in good health, then they should be able to finish off Carl with his 900 HP remaining if they get a nice surround on him.
Oh, Carl
But
going
that's
for
the
it.
most important one.
Carl is going for it.
And, oh, he's... Looks like Carl's diving for it. So Thoriel needs to screen through some Chaos Spawn, just keep himself safe. Carl dives in, tries to dive in, and...
Yeah.
And what is Erwin doing?
Okay.
Let's see. If he doesn't take a shot in the next 5 seconds, then I'm going to...
He
Okay.
did. He has one more shot. How many? Actually, one or two. Two more volleys. And then he has to engage. Let's see what he takes a shot at with his ammo.
He's running away right now. Looks
I
like
think he
he's
might just
willing
be...
to take a shot.
Yeah, he wants to kill Sartorial. That's kind of an odd angle, though, for his Outriders. Okay, he gets
It
shots.
is, and Carl just dove down into a kind of dangerous spot as well. Terror is starting to set in for the Chaos Marauders here a little bit, but right now it's just a battle of RNG, whether or not Sartorial can sustain taking a hit from Carl. If Carl goes down here, ooh, the Sartorial that got dunked on, but Carl is routing. As long as he runs Carl off the field and breaks him here, then I think Chaos will be in a pretty good position to take this, but Chaos Spawn aren't the fastest units, and so Carl himself might end up getting run off the battle. Or sorry, Carl might come back, I mean.
Yeah.
It's pretty likely here.
Marauders.
Huge sandwich coming in on these Marauders. Yeah. And with Carl back, I think things are going to be looking pretty bad for Chaos here. The Demigryph Knights are still relatively healthy, and unfortunately, what I thought was a mistake is that the unit used to run the Jade Wizard off is none other than a unit of Chaos Marauders with great weapons, and that is not good, because you need a lot of armor piercing right here in the epicenter of the battle.
Oh, Erwin is pulling out the combat.
Erwin is pulling out.
That's not good.
Yeah. Yep, I'm calling it there.
Not good.
Erwin,
Yeah.
you had your warning last game. That's Zegan's
Yeah, it's
win.
Vegan's
now.
win. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there you go. Well, this is
Done.
fully deserved. This is fully deserved. He broke the rule again, so. 100% backing this decision. Exact, like, he was gonna win this if he actually fought, I think.
Yes,
Yeah,
he would have. All he had to do was leave like one outright,
Oh shit.
cycle the other cavalry, but no.
I forgot to update the score, didn't I? But now it's 1-1. Okay, so since I'm solo here, that's gonna be hard to make calls. But we have Skaven for Zegan, and of course Empire for Erwin Smith. I'm gonna go over the Skaven build, What we have here is 4 Rat Ogres, I believe. He just moved them around. We have the ROR Doom Wheel. Up front, we have, looks like, 2 units of Skaven Slave Slingers. Actually, make that 3 units. Then here we have 4 Black Plague Monks. I was gonna say Black Monks, I don't know why. This is not Dark Elves, it's not Blackguards of Nagaroth. We have some Clan Rat Spears with shields, Skaven Slave Spears as well. 2 of those. One has 1 Chevron. We do have the Plague Priest over here. Let's see what he's got going for himself. Pestilent Birth, Vermintide, Plague Rash. And we have, of course, Ikit Claw, Brass Orb, Warp Lightning, and that sort of stuff for Zegan. Alrighty then. Let's take a look at the Empire player, aka Erwin Smith. Again, well, not again actually, we have Boris Todbringer. You could call him Karl Franz Light, or, you know, budget Karl Franz, people would call him potentially. He does have the Middleland Runefang, Hold the Line, and that is it for him. In terms of cavalry, we have, looks like 2 Pistoliers this time around, not Outriders. Makes sense, I guess. We have Reichsguard, Knights of the Blazing Sun, and another Reichsguard, so that's 2 of them. And wait, there's a Zintler's Reichsguard as well. Right. So wait a second. Yeah, it is 3 Reichsguard and 1 is an ROR. Fine. We have the Amber Wizard as well here. 2 abilities: Transformation of Kadon and Power Stone. And did I say there's a Jade Wizard? I mean, it's been a Jade Wizard a lot here. So Power Stone and Earth Blood. He's always brought the Jade Wizard, I think, as Empire. So just repeating the same thing again. Then finally, last but not least, we have the Free Company Militia. So this is again a super skirmish build from Erwin Smith. Looks like he's going full Lotus Moon on in this one. Alrighty. Well, let's see what's gonna happen here. Again, Zegan technically has to attack. Erwin Smith can just use the Pistoliers for it. I'm hoping we're not gonna get a situation like the last game, though. And I'm not gonna be able to call things without like people.
That's why I'm. That's why I'm.
Because you're watching the stream. Okay, I will make sure
Yeah,
that I will not.
always do that.
I will not be. I will not be like going into cinematic modes at all then, since Arrow isn't here.
Yeah,
Like
if Arrow would be in spectator slot, you
Yes.
can go, but because Arrow is no,
Yes.
I'll have to see it as a second.
Sorry,
player.
guys. No close-ups. It's.
I'm a little bit sorry that it's actually this couple that landed in semi-finals that decided to go with MP maps.
This is great for kiting.
Yeah, it's like I gave 3 perfect maps for kiting, and I hope to see some kiting, but didn't want to see
Erwin
that kind of kiting.
Wait a sec. What's Erwin doing? Not doing anything. Now
It
he's
looks
doing
like a bit like
something.
regrouping.
Yeah, I hope it is.
Let's wait 10
Yeah.
seconds. Let's
He's
wait 10
moving.
seconds. He's gonna start shooting. He's gonna start
moving,
shooting.
Yeah, he is shooting now.
He realized
fine.
what he's doing. And,
He realized what he's doing is wrong.
if he doesn't make Arkham the Black shooting, which was because there was some stupid rule back in the days that you had to like make one volley every certain amount of seconds.
Okay.
And Arkham the Black, like hat off, he was calculating that perfectly. He was manually shooting his missile unit every few seconds to be still attacking.
Nice. It's amazing. Well, so far, right now for the Empire, he's actually gotten those Skaven Slave Slingers out of the fight. Also the spears here. So the Reichsguard, they're doing damage here. Empire Knights as well. These Reichsguard are taking some damage. Maybe they should disengage from this melee engagement. But Rat Ogres are getting hit by these Manticores and the Zintler's Reichsguard. However, the Free Company Militia, they're off the field. The Knights of the Blazing Sun, they're also off. Ikat Claw is here fighting the Free Company Militia. Pistoliers also firing. Actually, whoa. He has 4 Pistoliers. I didn't see that. I thought he had only 2. Missed that again. Then we have these Rat Ogres here getting shot at by these Pistoliers. So definitely taking some damage. Let's see how this hits. It's some damage, but not a lot. Here we can see that Erwin Smith is running away, but that's fine because he is actually engaging on this side. Reichsguard coming around. We do have Boris Todbringer. Why is Zigan asking? Is he shooting?
Yeah, it was when we were considering.
Okay, when we were concerned. Yes.
I noticed the yellow dot back then.
Okay. Then we have Doomwheel is engaged here, so that's probably gonna go down. But I'm not sure though. Oh yeah, Boris Todbringer is coming in. Definitely gonna go down then. There's an engagement here. Plague of Monks going down. Reichsguard against Skaven Slave Slingers. We know who's gonna win that fight. Over here, Skaven Slave Spears engaging the Pistoliers, but you know that's not working out. These Free Company Militia getting some shots off into the Skaven Slave Slingers. More Reichsguard coming around. Empire Knights looks very much in favor of the Empire right now, and you know, as long as he can't mess it up in terms of like losing this at this point, the only way he can lose this is by not adhering to the rules. We'll see if he can do this right now. Because I think that's the only way at this point.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate for Zagan, but I noticed through the whole 3 matches.
Yeah? What's up? What's through the whole 3 matches you cut off?
He didn't take. Yeah, sorry. So, in all those 3, ignoring the rule breaks, Zagan not a single time considered that the map. He ignored the map and the fact that they fight on such massive maps every time, and he brought every time infantry builds that are meant for medium maps, not the biggest ones.
Yes. Well, at this point we have Karl Franz Light hitting these people here. Amber Wizard has been routed off the field by the Rat Ogres, but isn't gonna be enough. Empire Knights coming around. Free Company Militia still alive. Pistoliers with some ammo. There's no way for a Skaven victory right now. This is great. I mean, I love how Erwin like actually engaged this, and like he spread around his army and he kited Zigan to death, like really well.
Yeah, this is the kite I wanted to see. This is why I picked 3 MP maps into 1 semi-final, because this is exactly what I wanted to see. It's a perfect example of mobile fighting mobility as something. It's no cheese. It's a skill.
Okay, so here's the thing: can we promote Erwin? No, or at least consider it.
Well. No, well, Erwin just won 2-1. He's going into finals, and Zagan gonna fight Symbol 6. Symbol 6, I hope your lobby is up, mate, because we're coming.
Yes, we are coming.
Well, actually, I can actually spectate. Well, I mean, yeah, while watching the stream, I can actually just jump into. I don't have to admin. I can be in the battle.
Yes.
Cool.
The difference. Well, actually, there's also another issue. So in Warhammer 1. Tournament rules were in their earliest phase, so people still didn't really know what they were doing with them.
Well, I was like one of the biggest cheesers with like you'd see like the small low model stuff and kiting with like single entities and that sort of stuff.
But there were a lot of really dumb things in Warhammer 1.
Alrighty, however, we are currently in Warhammer 2, and there's gonna be a battle starting. So, I'm gonna go over Symbol 6's army composition here. He's playing as the Dark Elves. We have Crone. What? Hang on a second, he's moving his army. Alright, so we have Crone Hellebron. Interesting. Oh my god, moved again. Where is she? There she is. Yes, Crone Hellebron, finally. I can now check it out. So, Gaze of Cain, Witch Brew, Killing Blow, Fury of Cain, Cursed Blade, and, you know, Blood Frenzy and stuff. Yeah, that's very interesting. Okay, don't see this lord very often. In terms of cavalry, we have 2 Cold One Knights on the left. Make that, you know, this is supporting the Dark Riders with shields, and 2 of these Dark Riders with repeater crossbows. For the main line contingent, then we have, it's like a mix of units here. So 2 Dread Spears, then we have 2 Harkoneth Executioners. One is an ROR. In the center we have ROR, Sisters of the Singing Doom. Well, ROR Witch Elves, there we are. Actually a 3rd Dread Spear all the way in the back. And let us not forget about the Death Sorceress, who has, as I would expect, yes, Beta Buna, Spirit Leech, Life Leeching. And I don't think I missed anything for the Dark Elves, so you want to go over the Chaos?
Sure, just a word though. I am a little disappointed to see this 2nd unit of Executioners, because as far as this army is comprised, we have Blades of the Blood Queen and the Crone herself, which is like, you know, really heavy investment in anti-infantry. And the Dark Elves don't really have, I mean, they do have 2 repeater crossbows, but the missile pressure on their side isn't really sufficient to push units off from just taking frontal charges like Trolls, for example, into these Executioners. I really would have liked this to have been a Black Guard instead, and I think that would have rounded this build out much more. And also make it a little bit more like a Dark Elf Infantry sample platter, but that's beside the point. Over here on the Chaos side of Zegan, you've got Sartorial the Everwatcher with Plague of Rust and Final Transmutation. A couple of units of Chosen. Nope, just 1. So this seems to be... Oh, 2. Yeah, okay. So this seems to be kind of a favored frontline. 3. Oh
3
my.
Chosen.
For Zegan. So that's 3 units of Chosen. The Mirror Guard, which is like a budget unit of Chosen. 2 Chaos Marauders. 2 units of Chaos Knights. And 2 Marauder Horsemen. So this is a really heavy-duty infantry line. And ironically, how I was saying that I would have liked to have seen Black Guard instead, this actually ends up being probably a slightly more ideal counter to these units of Chosen, since Executioners are a little bit more well-suited for anti-infantry. But the one equalizing factor here is that they can't take charges as well, and Sartorial is perfectly free to sit on top of them and smack them around. So we'll see how Chaos uses their resources here. We've got a little bit of skirmishing in on these Cold One Knights, and to answer one question about how old the Crone is, she would make your grandma look like a lolly. That is how old she is.
Nice.
So,
Good.
back to the battle. So Dark Elves are scoring up a little bit of unfortunate positioning from Symbol 6 here, letting his Cold One Knights get chipped down by these Marauder Horsemen so much. These Dark Riders with shields, although they are intended as a screen for these units, Cold One Knights are way too slow to catch these units out, so it's not a good idea to leap in front of the army. And right here, really good engagement from Zegan. He's got Chaos Knights with Chosen and Mirror Guard piling up behind them. Cold One Knights won't be able to stand on, won't be able to take this kind of engagement. Fury of Cain going down, pumping them up, and really nice crossfire from these repeater crossbows. But there's another unit of Knights which is going to put pressure on them and probably shove them out of here, which will definitely be to Zegan's advantage.
Yeah, right now we see the Sartorial jumping in to hit down the Witch Elves. He's definitely hitting them pretty hard. And we have these Marauder Horsemen actually engaging in melee with the Dread Spears, but I'm guessing that is a mistake. I think they want to target down the Executioners. They're going around, going to hit the rear of the Executioners with some volleys if he micros them. Sartorial is pulling out because he doesn't want to be engaged with Dread Spears, while Marauders are trying to slow those units down. Here comes the rear charge from the Chaos Knights into those Hargoneth Executioners. That is going to be pretty painful, but Dark Riders are unopposed right now, however. There's nothing chasing them, so... And they have plenty of ammo, so they're gonna really put on the hurt right now. Thing is, though, Marauder Horsemen are also able to shoot, so... Both, you know, the Dark Elves Missile Cav and the Chaos Missile Cav, they're all shooting.
Yeah, and right here we see Crone Hellebron Inner Element just surrounded by the most elite infantry that Chaos can possibly take, and she's just blending them right now. Up to 58 kills, all unchosen, and Chaos Knight, so these are very expensive targets. And as we can see, there's this huge pocket of units rampaging, so Thoriel himself, completely out of control for Zegan and taking insane amounts of damage. And then Blades of the Blood Queen are also on their way in, with honestly a high enough stat line to probably function as an anti-large unit as well, just because of how hard they hit.
Look at this engagement. Marauder Horsemen charging into Dark Riders with rear crossbows, missile cap fighting each other in melee.
Yeah, they can't help it. I mean, they just have to shut down this missile pressure, but Chaos is just getting completely ground out in this battle. Blob is too strong for the Dark Elves, especially with Chrono Hellebron here, up to now 90 kills on Chosen. And unfortunately, Dark Riders with repeater crossbows, when they have murderous prowess, are strong enough to fight back against Marauder Horsemen. It's only Horse Masters that will beat them after they have that proc. So with that,
And Sega gave up.
Yes. Victory here.
That was a fast one. That was a really fast one.
That was fast. Yeah. Fast and
It's,
painful. Not quite
it's a
painless.
classic example of infantry versus chariots, right? Basically. Symbol 6's army was just very well suited to dealing with this. Just given all the Chosen on the field. It's very unfortunate for Zegan. Achilles.
Yes. The Russian prince. That's Galko. Or Korean
Yeah,
prince.
RTK said that meme.
Russian prince, Korean prince, well, you can call me a Korean prince. Although I come from
Chicago.
a military background, not royalty.
Well,
I
I have no.
Nah, never mind. Just go through the armies.
Yes. Okay, so I guess since I love the Wood Elves, I'll take the Wood Elves first. We have Orion. Yes, there he is. There he is. Mel Gibson, as he's called, right? So we have what's he got? Well, we have Hounds of Orion, Hawks Talon, Foe Seeker, Cloak of Isha, and that is it. Where's the caster? There she is in the back. Spellsinger of Life. Loading as usual. Simply just Earthblood. Just Earthblood. That's it. So, you know, literally one ability on Spellsinger. Then we have... I saw another single entity somewhere. There it is. Have the Way Stalker. With Arrow of Cornus, of course. Now, of course, we have an Way Watcher build. So we have 2 Way Watchers up front. Not going 3 Way Watchers like Xiphus. Then over here on the left, we have 2 Glade Riders with Hagbane tips. 1 stat AP. War Dancers, 3 of them. Turn Gauze with shields, quite a few of them. And the game has actually started, and I didn't give you enough time to go over the Norska build. Sorry.
This is easy. So he's got 4 Marauders, 2 units of Marauder Hunter Javelins, a Frostworm, Wolfric on a Chariot, Norskin Ice Wolves, 2 Armored Skin Wolves, and a Famir Balefiend of Shadows, carrying Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma and Pit of Shades, which is good for punishing cavalry, but the problem is actually getting it.
Okay.
So, obviously, the first few volleys have already opened up. Way Watchers, I believe, are being used on Fire Will, and just a little bit of advice to players using skirmishers that have a 360-degree firing arc. It's best for you to designate your targets one at a time and have them off the Fire Will, because what tends to happen instead is that they will all aim for the same models, thus wasting a ton of ammo. That's why when you see Way Watchers or Blade Riders do heinous amounts of damage in one volley, it's because they were off fire at will and the targets were selected manually instead. So, really nice moves in the beginning here by the Wood Elves, as we kind of glossed over as it was happening. The Eternal Guard shifted to allow the War Dancers to engage with Marauders, which is a good engagement for them. We've got a Pit of Shades coming in on one of these units of War Dancers, fighting a unit of Marauder Champions, so this should be a bit of a wash for the Wood Elves over here. And then Norskins are also flooding into this Way Watcher line, which normally would actually be somewhat of a dangerous position for Wolfric, but he and other Norscan lords on chariots actually are shielded.
Yeah.
So he will be mitigating some of that damage.
And Marauders even getting into them, into the Way Watchers. So that is pretty bad for the Wood Elves. Again, the Norse did really well on the right flank. Actually, like there was a Glade Rider that got caught earlier on. Didn't really do much. It was very good for Norska. We see the Frostworm still engaging right now. It's pretty low on HP. Also some Skin Wolves going around, perhaps preparing for a rear charge onto those two Wood Elf units that are engaged with Marauder dudes. However, the Way Watchers, they're about to get hit here by the Skin Wolves, and that's going to be really bad for them. And Wolfric's in on them as well. Not good for the Way Watchers. However, if they shoot, they might still do some damage.
Yeah, so as we can see, Norska's getting into melee with all the ranged units, and the Skin Wolves are still in pretty good health, so I think it's only a matter of time before the Wood Elves just get ground down from here. I don't think Orion has any hope of fighting off most of a Norscan army on his lonesome. And then, of course, Wolfric can just ride around the periphery and remove some of these units of Eternal Guard and War Dancers as they show up. So assuming that Wolfric doesn't get sniped, I think that this is going to be a Norscan game. A little bit of an early call, but the way that Norska functions, of course, is that they do get stronger in melee as they remain in melee, and Wood Elf units are generally not very well suited to dealing with these kinds of pseudo anti-infantry bruiser type units.
However,
not to mention they're also quite fast.
The Frostworm is routed, it's very low, and Wolfric is also quite low, so it's hard to just, write them off completely, although as you're saying, again, Wood Elves not in the greatest position, because the Way Watchers are no longer a thing, so that's gonna make it very difficult for the Wood Elves. But, Orion is there, and he's hitting these Ice Wolves. However, the Wolfric, like, if Wolfric dies, maybe that gives some hope for the Wood Elves, but he is not going to die right now. He's running away, he is just fine. Meanwhile, the Glade Riders with Hackbane tips got caught by the Skin Wolves. Maybe should have actually used skirmish mode for once.
That's gonna be army losses and 3-2-1.
That is it.
Alright, Zegan calls it.
Ooh, that's actually quite surprising. Zegan's already knocked out. I mean, not knocked out in this best of 3, quick 2-0.
Yep,
Not
so
expect
this
that
is
one.
Symbol 6 moving on to face off against Irwin, right?
Yes.
Yes, we got to see Erwin again.
Well,
Alright.
it would have been more fun to see Irwin against Zegan, right? Because they have history. Like, what was it? 7
I actually hoped for that.
Yeah, like how many years? 5 years? They said, I think.
5 years, yeah.
Yes.
It would have been funny, but perhaps Zegan doesn't mind this conclusion either as long as Symbol 6 wins.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I'd say that, yeah, it was a good set of games. Symbol 6 definitely indirectly proving to Zophos right now that he should have chosen him. But, too bad, I guess. What's a sensible sandwich meat that starts with a D? Bacon, lettuce, durian. Well, we're already in game, so
Yes.
I'll finish that thought later.
Okay. You can think about it while I go over the Bretonnian build. We have Alberic de Bordelais, who has Wrath of Manon, Raid of Bordelais, and that is it. For the mage, it is of course a Damsel of Life, I assume Earthblood. Yes, Earthblood, Regrowth, and Power Stone. In terms of the Missile Cav contingent, it's just 3 mounted human archers. One of them is an ROR. Cav-wise, well, melee cav-wise, looks like 2 Knights of the Realm with the Companions of Kenel. That's a questing knight ROR. We do have 3 peasant mob up front, supported by 4 men at arms with pole arms. Two of them are at 1. Now, what do we have for our Norscan player?
Well, over here on Symbol 6's side, we're looking at a leadership corps comprised of Wulfric on a chariot. Seems like he likes this mount quite a bit for his lord. Also got a Shaman Sorcerer of Death with 3 spells on him, actually. That would be Aspect of the Dread Knight, Spirit Leech, and Fate of Buna. Got a front line comprised of... oh, sneaky. 5 Marauders, 1 Marauder Champion.
2 Marauder
Marauder
champions,
Berserker.
I think. Isn't it 2
Oh,
Marauder champions?
Wait. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. 4 Marauders, 2 Marauder Champions, 1 Berserker. Got 2 Famir with... No, he does have 5 Marauders. There is 1 in the back, so 5 Marauders. 2 Famir with Great Weapons, 2 Marauder Horse Masters. And that's it for Norsca, so pretty straightforward build there. Looks like both armies are going to square up to skirmish with each other right now. Tony and Yeoman Archers going to be taking some shots at these Horse Masters. I think it would definitely be in Symbol 6's best interest to pursue, and if he could, strafe a little bit to dodge shots. Like right about now would be a good time to start dodging. You have to, when attempting to dodge missile fire, what you're looking for is that moment right before the units shoot. Normally it's a little bit hard for you to gauge it properly, but most of the time, if you just practice it a little bit, you'll be able to figure, or at least count to your head, roughly to about 8 seconds, which is where most missile units fall right now.
There's an
Really nice
engagement.
move from Symbol 6 here. Marauders get caught, and he is just ignoring them. No need to lose more over
Yeah.
one bad engagement.
How did I miss the Royal Peg Knights and the Grail Reliquary? Yeah, that's amazing. I keep not calling out units. Oh, there's a big Fate of Buna though. Onto the
Fate of Buna comes down.
yeah, it's slightly like countered by the Earthblood. Ooh, they're getting charged as well here. They're gonna run away. Yeah, they're gonna make it.
Looks like we also have a regrowth coming out on the companions. I would have liked to see the regrowth coming before the Earthblood, but you know, perhaps it was a misclick. So these questing knights are going to be down 5 models, but they still have plenty of HP to heal. And in the meantime, as those marauders are getting run down by Royal Pegasus Knights, we see Erwin trying to reform his ranks here to square up against the Bretonnian army. He's actually going to get mauled in melee, so it's very important that he drags this skirmish out as long as possible. And looks like just about on cue, the melee scrum is going to begin. So we've got Berserkers, Champions, Famir just all piling into the front line. He does need these Famir in pretty good shape because Alberic is perfectly capable of sniping Wulfric on a chariot. So this is his lifeline right here. And we've got a huge Trident of Manon coming in. Ooh! Oh god. Oh
Yes.
god. And it also kills peasants, but that's fine.
Yeah, hey, what do you have against peasants?
Well, it's okay. It's fine if you lose some peasant mob. He did hit the champions, which are actually terrified, and did break 1 unit of marauders as well. So that was a really nice pick for Erwin here. Just kiting around the outskirts of the battle, and then Wulfric himself has actually gotten caught out by the companions. This is a really bad situation for him. He does have 120 armor, but only 30 melee defense, so if he can't free himself from this situation with the help of these Famir, then this is going to be really bad for him. Royal Pegasus Knights cycle charging the backs of most of this Norscan infantry.
Yeah, there's definitely multiple engagements going on all across the field right now. Looks like the right definitely went in, you know, the right of the Bretonnians definitely went not in their favor. Norscans definitely won there. Meanwhile, on the other flank, it looks to be a pretty easy win for Bretonnia there, with all the rear charges from the Peg Knights, from Alberic himself. But you know, now because of you know, Symbol 6 won the other flank, now he can move on in with the rest of his forces and see if he can surround the man-at-arms here. There go the Marauders with a rear charge into those pole arms. However, also the Bretonnian Lord is here, so he can actually do some work here onto Wulfric. he does decide to do that. Some nice charges here from the Knights of the Realm. Lots of damage dealt to the melee infantry of Norska there.
Yeah, this was a bit of an unfortunate bait here for Symbol 6. He ran into this blob of infantry, probably thinking that, you know, chariots are anti-infantry, so let's go for it. But what he probably didn't account for was all of the mass nearby and, of course, just the sheer number of infantry bodies, which, although individually don't have much mass, when stacked up on each other like this, can actually stop large units. Wolfric's being escorted off the field, and the fact that the Norskins have not yet won the infantry engagement, I think is going to spell doom for them, as most of the cavalry still online for Bretonnia, and Alberic is also in perfect health.
Yes, this looks really bad for them. Again, Missile Cav even is online for Erwin. And that's going to be a big hit on the Great Weapon Marauder Champions. We see. Oh, he
Symbol
does.
6 is going to catch this one.
Yeah, he did do a really nice dodge there. I mean, he still got hit. Still. Ooh, these polearms are kind of low right now on leadership. They might rout if Erwin's not careful.
Yeah, this little blob over here, Men-at-Arms and Polearms have just been holding all game, honestly doing quite well for themselves, and creating a little bit of a deterrent for a lot of these Familiar. They have gotten a hold of the Grail Relic, but there aren't actually any fear or terror-causing units on the Norscan roster. Although, hilariously enough, I guess it was the Grail Relic that was holding all these Men-at-Arms together, because as soon as it went down, so too did the Men-at-Arms, but with just one unit of Familiar on the field, I don't think it's enough to kill off the Royal Pegasus Knights and Adderbilly.
Yeah, still all Bretonnians are routing. They will definitely come back though, so it's quite fine for Bretonnia. Although, you know, they ideally they wouldn't have routed, but still. Ooh, these Familiar, they're now getting hit pretty hard by those Mounted Yeoman archers. They're gonna be taking some damage here. And again, Alberic is pretty decent shape. Ooh, Wolfric's coming back. Wolfric's coming back, but he's gonna just probably rout. There he goes. He came back and he routed as soon as he came back, and now he's gonna rout again. But he's not dead though, so I guess that is pretty useful. We'll see how useful it is.
It is, but unfortunately with the Deathcaster now being escorted off the field, there's no more hope of Spirit leeching Adbury to death. And with that, these Familiar are just alone on an island in the midst of a ton of flying, very hard-hitting units.
Yep. Marauder Champions getting charged by Knights of the Realm with the Lance formation. Wow, that broke through so much. And they took so much damage there, and now they're getting shot at. I wouldn't want to be a model part of that Marauder Champion unit. Definitely not, because I'd be feeling pretty hopeless right now.
It's going downhill right now. It's a straight downhill. There is nothing much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also wouldn't like to be one of those champions. Weather in Chicago is probably not too much unlike what it's like in Norska right now. However, I definitely don't want to be shirtless in this weather, let me tell you.
I mean, would you really want to be a Familiar though? I mean, they don't. They seem to have like issues with their backs, so I don't know. I think I'd have like back pain, so it's not something I want.
Hunched, yeah. You'd also be living in a swamp. So there's that too. I am kind of interested where the inspiration for their great weapons comes from, though, because it kind of looks like a glorified mace, but perhaps there's some sort of medieval weaponry that I'm unaware of that this is modeled after. It's like a, I don't know, it's like a mace, but it resembles something a little bit more like a gigantic cowbell on a stick.
I think
guess that
it's
would hurt too if it got
actually
plugged.
a Chinese mace. I think I've seen pictures of maces in China. Not square. Like normally it would be actually rounded. Quite
Oh, it's a
definite
mall.
that would be in China and maybe even in Europe. Because maces were quite often tourist people weapon, so they were kind of random, made from whatever people had around. Well, GG to Erwin, having 1-0.
Yes, a 0 for Erwin.
Yeah,
Could be
it was a
taken.
good game.
It's a mole. Yes, Adelmo. That's the
Yeah.
proper English word for it.
Yes.
Personally, for me, I would have actually liked to see Symbol 6 come in with a mammoth here. As you saw, he did have a little bit of issue dealing with the infantry quickly enough. So I think if he had downgraded his champions to berserkers, taken away some marauders, and then upgraded Wolfric to a mammoth, that he could have also been in pretty good shape.
Oh, I had berserkers.
Yep.
Didn't even
Is
notice
it base
them.
only a one-hander? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, yeah. I was wrong.
Holy cow, the kills on the Beg Knights and Knights of the Realm. And veterans.
136, 174. The cavalry just carried the game insanely hard.
And I saw him like use lance a lot this game, I think. Like he just even against unbraced targets, like is it still better? I'm not sure.
Didn't use skin wolves because of magic damage, but they would have possibly won him the game. Maybe. You have to be really careful with skin wolves because they're more susceptible to terror than Famir are in this current patch because their leadership is, I don't remember if it's 50 or 60, but Famir sit at 70, and the fact that they're heavily armored also means that it's much more difficult to kite them. Even the armored skin wolf variant has 70 armor, I think, and that definitely makes it so that things like Knights of the Round can still put quite a bit of a dent in them. Not to mention Pegasus Knights as well. They have trouble fighting in a blob. That's the main issue. Yeah, they do have Frenzy, but it's very easy for Bretonia to bomb the leadership of isolated units.
Okay, since we have the High Elves, I'll take the High Elves. I love the elves. We have Alariel the Radiant, as you would expect, with Earthblood and Faz Protection, as well as Shield of Safari. We have a Star Dragon, again, pretty much expected from Erwin. In terms of the actual melee line, we see, wow. Okay, that's 4 White Lions of Grace, 5 of them. So that's quite heavy on the axes there. We also have, looks like a single Eagle Claw Bow Thrower unit, 2 Spearmen, and in the back, 2 Silver Helms with shields. There's also a Noble unit on, he is on horse. And I don't think I missed anything. Gonna take another quick look, and I don't think I missed anything, so what do we have for Tomb King's era?
Alright, so on the Tomb King's side, we've got a pretty basic front line with one slightly out of place unit. So we're looking at basic Skeleton Spearmen and Skeleton Warriors. That's a 4-1 ratio, respectively. And then we also have the Kepper Guard. So there is that one unit for punching a little bit harder than the rest. We have a Tomb Scorpion supporting this front line, a Bone Giant, a unit of Tomb Guard with halberds, Neakar Horsemen, Necropolis Knights with halberds, etc. the Imperishable on his War Sphinx. Is there any other cavalry? No, it looks like that's it.
Did you talk about the
have-
Vanguarded unit?
We do have a unit of Skeleton Horsemen, and then there is one unit of Ushabti Greatbows, so pretty similar to what Symbol 6 took earlier, but I believe what he did was he cut out one of his Neakara Horsemen, and downgraded a couple of infantry units to afford this extra Ushabti Greatbow. We'll see if it pays off.
Yeah, I mean, you don't where he put that skeleton horseman. I can't even see it on the minimap.
Sneaky snakes.
Yeah. Do you normally not see hidden units from the opposing side, even if you're spectating? I mean, on the minimap, because you see them on the map, of course. But... Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, minimap it's actually cut in the edge. I don't know why.
Okay.
Yeah, the minimap for this map is a little bit strange. So you can hide units that way,
Okay.
which is kind of funny.
Yeah, it is. It shouldn't be like that though, because I mean, obviously it's part of the map, so it should show up. But anyway, back to the game. Looks like Erwin is gonna have to move up. Meanwhile, Tomb Kings are going a different route. Interesting. Very interesting. So they're both gonna reposition here.
I do like the use of white lions here because it does give him a unit to beat the front line with, but I mean, first of all, I think Phoenix Guard are just much more cost efficient in terms of the threats that High Elves would expect to see. And aside from that, if you're taking this many white lions, you probably need to come in with a rush build just to put some pressure on the opponent. And this bolt thrower would probably be better used as some unit with mass so that the white lions can actually function as a pseudo anti-large unit with their support. Like white lions plus silver helms, that combo beats quite a few units. It's actually what I used to use to beat Grail Knights, so.
Ooh. Cool. Alrighty.
Yeah.
Doom King's coming around here, but Eagle Claw is getting set up. We'll see what kind of shots it can get from there. Trying to hit the... Ooh, missing actually the Ushapti. That turn around
Nice
just
dodge
in time.
from Simple 6 there. Looks like you'll be dodging another bolt shot.
Yeah, nice.
And
Nice.
looking for an ideal... Oh! The Bone Giant fires right between this little arch and the monolith, taking a shot at the bolt thrower.
Nice. We're gonna have to look at that skeleton horseman that's hidden eventually, because it might try to go in for the bolt thrower at some point. Alright, look at that noble. It's going in really deep. Wow, okay. He's deep.
Lots of pieces of the Ushabti, but the Ushabti aren't really in a position to stop him. If they were to go into melee mode and trap him here, I find it quite likely that he would actually die.
I mean, won't he die here? Yeah, I mean...
Really big breath attack on the Pepper Guard.
Ooh, I missed it, I think. But it's looking quite okay for us. But still, I don't know if the noble...
Cavalry is coming for the bolt thrower.
Is it? Yeah, it is.
Yep.
It is. It is.
Noble's now terrified, and I mean, there isn't really anything stopping the Tomb Kings here from just sitting on these white lions with all these large units, so why not, right?
There's the Star Dragon on
Such a spot
Spectrum. Yeah.
Ooh, no. This is bad. This is very bad.
Noble coming in. I don't think he's gonna make it out of here. Or is he? We'll see. I don't think so.
Oh, that was a massive mistake.
That was critical. Fortunately, he didn't lose Cetra, but once again, he just is lacking a lot of hit points to play with, and the High Elves over here have a much stronger blob.
He's lost now, the Cetra. He's gonna go down because
Yeah.
the calf mask stopped him, and that means he can't get out of there.
Cetra is not a tank. That's a rookie mistake. Cetra is not a tank.
That's
That's gonna be GG. That's gonna be GG. I'm calling it.
Yeah,
I mean, there aren't many other units that are going to threaten the White Lions now. And then the Dragon as well is pretty much able to fight with impunity. The only real threats to them were the Shanti Great Bows and this Bone Giant, but the issue with the engagement with Cetra is that he needed to buy himself more time to poke these units down with missile units, because he wasn't able to complete or he wasn't using Cetra as much of a distraction, but rather it was sort of like a bait for himself. Just ended up kind of throwing this game away, honestly. Have to be really careful with the placement of your lord, especially when you see a grouping of the Lariel and the Star Dragon. That is a bona fide Boon squad. You have to be careful.
and
Yeah, Symbol just said in the chat, how do I lords?
how do I lords? Oh, is he gonna call it and concede right now? He's not gonna play it to the end.
He's
See,
probably
still
just
playing.
gonna play it so we can
Let's
stream it.
just play it out, I think. So.
Oh, here comes Breath Attack on the Doom Guard.
Yeah, but honestly, the Star Dragon could probably just kill the rest of this army now.
Yes. Just gonna get some close-up shots here. Up Bone Giant and the Star Dragon. Boy. Lariel. Safety. Bone Giant is still firing in though. But, I mean, what can it really do at this point? At least it's tanky, right?
Just putting in some work, but this is the kind of work he needed to happen like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, I mean he's firing, he's doing damage. And he's super tanky, but I mean, I don't think this is gonna be enough for him.
I don't think I've seen a Star of Avalorn come down yet either.
Yeah.
So actually, wait, he didn't even take it. That is very.
Yeah, he didn't
ballsy.
take it. He didn't
That's
take
ballsy.
it. Yes.
He did not take it.
All
Wow,
army losses.
that is unfortunate.
Crumbling.
Oh,
they're all
shit.
going down.
And that's Erwin. Erwin is the winner then.
Oh, the clear and quick 2-0 victory.
There's the 2-0.
See this bone giant disintegrate.
Congratulations, Erwin, winner of the fresh recruit number 7.
Yes. Congrats, Erwin, for that. Really good
Symbol,
victory here.
trust me, everyone throws. Just see my performance in the last 2 ever chosens on day
Ouch.
2.
Ouch, ouch, ouch. Yeah. That,
Yeah. Yeah.
Would be
It happens. It happens.
it's hard to I can't even imagine how difficult it must be to recover mentally from that. Like I wouldn't know what to do if that happened to me. Like I mean, your case, Arrow, not Symbol 6.
Yeah.
Alrighty. See, stat-wise, what did well here? Well, obviously Star Dragon just ripped Cetra apart with support, the Noble. Nothing really doing great here for the Tomb Kings. I guess the Tomb Guard, at least skill-wise, they did okay. Alrighty. See.
Yeah, Symbol, well, I think based on how that match played out, you can kind of see why people suggest taking him on a Mammoth in that matchup. Because you did run into a bit of an issue killing the infantry quickly enough, and then it also would have helped to have the extra, like, 6,000 hit points to play with.
Alrighty. I'm gonna find someone to host. Let's see.
Alright.
Who can host.
He's Archer bait on the 70 armor Mammoth. Well, you just lead with other units. It's not like you don't crush the Bretonnian infantry game. And if it's only mounted yeomen, then it's like whatever. They could actually run out of ammo trying to kill your Mammoth. But yeah, so I guess that'll be the end of the stream.
Yeah.
This has been Aerocrastic and Prussian Prince.
Yeah, I'm happy. And Toto. And Toto.
Well, Toto's the host. Toto's the host. That's a different case.
Yes. Yeah, thanks again, Arrow, for casting with me, and Toto for organizing this fresh recruit. The last one for a while, at least, right? So yeah.
Yeah. So thanks for having me on, guys, and I guess that'll be it for the day. Be sure to thank Toto for organizing these tournaments, and we'll be sure to see him off in the near future properly.
All right. See you, everyone.
Well, there is still the freshly chosen. All right. Let's remember
it's
there
true.
is still the freshly chosen
You're hosting
30th
that.
and 1st of December, and this is when you're gonna see me definitely. I'm seeing the thing till the very end. But yeah. Thanks for the support, lads, and carry on. Have fun.
Right.
Good luck. I'm going to eat my dinner.
See you, stream. See you, everyone.